Hey guys, we're here, the top of the mountain, the apex of it all. Welcome to VLS. It's the grand finals, guys. I'm excited. I am joined by Cute Noob and Becky. What's up, girls?
What's up? How's it going? I'm having a great night. It's about to get a whole lot better. We're in the finals. If there was a hype game to be on our plate, this is certainly it. And we're excited to bring it to you.
Oh my
Yeah,
god,
yeah.
oh my god, it's just I'm literally just shaking and
Lots of
oozing
words.
excitement. It's just so much fun. It's a whole rematch from Group B. That's the craziest thing. Of all the groups, everybody having the representatives here, it wound up being a rematch from week 9 of the regular season. Noxious versus Akuma Esports. So much fun.
And
So
that's
much
going to be a little bit of a bad omen if you're noxious. I
Mm.
mean, their only loss, if I recall,
Mhm.
was to Akuma. So that seems a little bit spooky, but I mean, I talked about it when we were doing a league cast kind of earlier in the week. If you're going for those rematches, that's kind of nice. You can go back, you can watch the VODs, you can really start to dissect what was happening from those previous matches, learn a lot more about your opponents and how they play, and then make changes according to specifically tailored for the matchup that you're about to go into. This does
Mhm.
kind of cross your fingers that your opponent hasn't come up with anything new, but it at least gives you some ground to work on, a place to start rather than just like going in at the start of the league. So we're gonna hope that these teams watch back the VODs and either come with some new strategies to take Noxious by surprise or come with some plans to try and take down the demons that are Akuma because they have been unstoppable.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, you said
Yes.
unstoppable, and I think with that unstoppable is the big exclamation mark, which they have been unstoppable and they haven't even lost a map. Even in these playoff seasons, they went 3-0, 2-0, excuse me, 2-0. So you're kind of looking at a team that looks picture perfect down to every single detail.
Yep, yep. And if we could, producer San, get the playoffs bracket up on screen so we can see the journey we have made this far, coming up to our penultimate matchup. And like you said, every single matchup through even through playoffs that Akuma did 2-0, 3-0, and now we are here. It's just they are seemingly invincible. And like Noxus, they had a very similar road. They were also a bye because they were first and second seed, so of course they got the
Mhm.
2-0. They did drop one game to overdose last week, but they are here ready to. It's a revenge plot, Like it's always
Mhm.
those fun sequel movies where it's like, I'm here to get my revenge. It's like you killed my father, blah blah, blah all that fun stuff. But it's really a big ask. Do they have what it takes? Do they have the ability to get this rematch, but in their favor? That's what we're gonna run down in this year old pre-show. I guess we can start with like what would the keys to victory be for Noxus in this if they want to, get out the victory here.
I'm gonna
Well,
actually
event.
hand this
Oh,
one to Cute
oh,
Noob
okay.
specifically, as
I
you
was
have
gonna
a
raise
little
my
bit of
hand.
insight.
Yeah.
Yeah, go.
It's like,
I know.
pick
I
me,
already know
pick
that you know the
me. I
answer, so
know.
I'm like, go for it. Let's get it.
I'm so excited. I know I was gonna be like, come on, pick me. Do it, host. Pick me this time. All right. So the big key to beating Akuma would be their lack of experience in maps. For the most part, Akuma has played a lot of Ascent. So if you are Noxious, you're gonna get rid of that Ascent right off the bat. They have the best win rate. They've played it the most. They probably know it like the back of their hand, and they've been successful all throughout it, right? So get rid of Ascent. Also, I would get rid of Haven as well. That seems to be a map that they do phenomenal as well. And if you are Noxious, you're probably wanting to bring in that split. This is going to be your last chance to bring in that split. I believe. Are we still keeping it, or are we?
Yeah, we
Are
have
we?
split
We
still.
have it, right? Okay, so you're playing that split. That's the one that they were the closest to last time they played. It was 13-11. So they
Oh,
just missed it by like the tiniest smidge. So if they can bring that back, oh, it's gonna look nice and spicy, especially if you can make that your first map, or maybe the second map. You know, you're still in the run. This is going to be a best of five. We're thinking distance here. If you can take a distance, then that's going to be the best bet for Noxious. And then also they might want to be looking for Bind as well. Bind seems to be a map that just favors Noxious. So if you're Noxious, you're thinking Bind, we could bring it in. Player-wise, I'm looking at Ostino and Yasser. If they can make their grand opening from the get-go and really establish and warm themselves up for success, then I really think that that's going to be possible. But the biggest players for Akuma are going to be Shattered and Degree. If Shattered and Degree are at their A+ game, I'm scared.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. They're quite terrifying when they do get on the roll and actually do get things going for their favor. Becky, I'm coming to you now. I guess you get the easier job. You know what does Akuma have to do here? Like, what are their keys to victory to get this? What where everybody is assuming to be a 3-0.
Yeah, I think Akuma themselves are kind of expecting it to be a 3-0 at the end of their match versus UCD. Last week we got to do a little bit of an interview with one of their players, and we got to hear just how confident the side of Akuma really is. They are not worried about this match, and I think that actually might end up being a little bit of a key to victory in the end. If you are playing against somebody who maybe didn't is just thinking that it's going to be so easy that they didn't go through and do a ton of preparation and you did, I think that that could actually spell some very nice things for the side of Noxious. So if you're Noxious, I think you're hoping Akuma just said, this is easy. We're so confident we don't have to worry about playing against them. They did mention that of Noxious or ODG, they were a little bit more worried about playing against Noxious, which makes me think that maybe it won't be quite as easy. They've at least like come in prepared just a little bit, but overall we are not likely to see. I think it's gonna be, I think Noxious potentially can take a game off of Akuma, but at the end of the day, I do kind of agree that I think Akuma will be able to take this down pretty swiftly. And I think it's just going to be off the back of some phenomenal players, as we mentioned, Degrees and Shattered already. Shattered can be kind of weaker on some of those agents, something like the Sky, but is so strong on something like the KO. So as long as we're getting to see those comfort picks, and Degrees also being able to pick up something like that Raise that was also just a ton of fun to watch, then
Oof.
I think that they're going to be in a great place and just be able to kind of coast through these games.
Goes through. Yeah, I mean, everybody, is given the edge to Akuma, saying, it'll be the 3-0, it'll be this. What would Noxus have to do to even bring it maybe to a game five? Because they are very much the underdogs in this situation. I mean, we can briefly, like, I know we talked over their map pools and some agent picks that could potentially give them other keys to victory, but if we were to, talk about early predictions, while we're still waiting for everybody to load in the lobby, say Noxus do win this, what are we expecting the score to be if they can, get the Rocky 3 underdog win?
I would be expecting some crazy map picks. I think that at this
Mhm.
point in time, you cannot let Akuma stay on those comfort map picks. This is going to be really awkward because that likely means banning Ascent and Haven really early on, kind of like Q Noob was talking about. We need to make sure that we have some Pearl, we have some Fracture, we have some things that Akuma either haven't wanted or haven't taken the time to study. And over the last week, we've just seen Noxious drill in some crazy, maybe even cheesy game plan into themselves that are they've just been spending a ton of time in aim labs and became demons of equal caliber to Akuma in the last week. But it's something that I definitely need to see and need to be in the game witnessing to really believe, because at this point in time, that's what I'm thinking needs to be the game plan. Unless we get through this first game and I'm like, oh my gosh, their crosshair placement is on point. Their communication
Mhm.
seems to be flawless. Like, because that's the kind of the level that Akuma is on. So as long as we
Yeah.
don't see that out of Noxious, what I am expecting to see is kind of some cheesy, cheeky plays. And sometimes that's okay. If you recognize that somebody is just better at crosshair placement and better at landing those headshots, go for those cheesy plays. Go for those crazy 5 agent pushes. Use that utility to the best of your advantage. There's nothing wrong with that. That's the whole point of Valorant. Like, if it was just guns, we'd be playing a different game. But there's
Yeah.
utility for a reason, and it's so that you can use it to your advantage to beat the people who are better at shooting than you are. So that's what I think in the end we need to see, and I think that's going to result in some crazy map picks. At least that's what I'm crossing my fingers for.
I couldn't agree more with you, Becky. And I feel your hype and I feel your excitement. So I hope that the players give it to us because, I mean, yeah, I couldn't agree more. You need to think outside the box. When your aim is just not there and you know that your enemies are far more superior as paper, right? There could be the big upset. Like if you guys watched Masters, everyone thought Paper Rex looked like the it team. On paper, they looked flawless. They looked like they were going to clutch it out. They looked like it was going to be a walk in the park. But FPX dug deep and they managed to get that. So I'm kind of hoping that Cinderella story happens for Noxious. Like you said, ratty plays are going to be the it thing. You need to really, really rely on your utility to really combo it together and use it to the T. Also, you're hoping that Degree and Shattered aren't having the best day. I know that's up to fate, but maybe you get under their skin. Maybe do a little bit of trash talking before the game starts. Get that chat, getting into their mental, being like, "Yo, you're not gonna get this," and really scare them. And that might kind of take their concentration off of the game and more on, "Hey, my God, these guys are talking trash. What do I do? Do I write back or do I just focus?" And that
You
way
gotta
it throws in a little mental game, mental
yeah,
warfare.
throw in the wrench, yeah. I get that, yeah, just throw in a quick little slash all K and then just keep
Ex-
going,
exactly. So that could also be what helps, Noxious win. For the most part, also Yasser and Ostino need to be on it. They just need to perfectly play it. And like Becky said, just to sum that up as well, crazy maps. We need to see those maps that aren't as everyone's used to, like a Haven, Ascent. Everyone knows those maps. Everyone probably has backhanded strategies to it. So if you can just bring in crazy, I think we're having map selection here as we're
we are,
talking.
I was about to say, yeah, we
Oh.
do have a little bit of info. First 2 maps that were banned, were Akuma decided to ban Haven, and Noxious
Mm,
have banned Breeze for the first 2 maps, so could be, influence a little bit of these decisions now, huh?
okay. I do see that Bind as that third. So is that a chosen or is that
Yeah, it's a
uh
pick one.
It's a
oh,
yes,
okay.
it's yep, that's the
So
pick.
Bind's gonna be in the mix. I like that.
I think that's actually a very interesting start because normally I would have picked Akuma to be very favored on Haven, but I think that their thought process might be kind of the same as mine. And one of the maps that it is easy to get some kind of interesting flanks, to get some unpredictable game plans is that Haven. Like that is one of the maps with the most diverse agent pool and has 3 points for you to take. So it is one of those very unpredictable ones. And I mentioned Pearl earlier. I meant to say Split as Pearl is currently not in here. If Pearl was in here, I would definitely think that we should be picking it because it likely would be something that Akuma wouldn't be prepared for. But I digress. Not something that is in the pool for today. So going for that Haven ban to start from Akuma likely is of the thought process of what are maps that we would be surprised by or be able to kind of get the rug swept out from under our feet. And Haven could certainly be one of those maps because it is so nice to so many different agents.
Mhm. Couldn't
Agreed,
agree more.
agreed.
Although I kind of feel like Bind, you're also gonna have to be worrying about your back a little bit as well, since you can go from spawn or market. Most likely, though, market's gonna be kind of warded off with that trades mark, especially since I believe on my research they did play chamber on it when they
Mhm.
played, so they might have that chamber sneaking around somewhere. So I don't know. I'm expecting to see Akuma be really, really aggressive on buying. Akuma's just a W key team,
Yeah.
period. And like we said, that Split shows its head around town, which I'm a Split lover. I love Split. I think Split's great. I'm so angry at Riot for taking it out of the map pool. Like I will 1v1 them in Jiu-Jitsu. At me, Riot. Let's go.
Oh man, cute noob versus
I
all of the Riot staff. I am 100% here for it.
I thought it was actually really interesting. Somebody just yesterday was like, "Oh, is Split just like the Choco Taco of Valorant. Are people just
no.
like nobody
Too
really
soon.
liked Split when it was in rotation? Nobody really
That's
liked
true.
Choco Tacos when they were available. Like, when was the last time anybody went out and bought a Choco Taco?
A month ago for me.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I can't
Mine was
even.
like a long time ago.
I
And
can't
so
even
like
remember.
They
and so
definitely still had them in circulation down here. So I am hurt personally and victimized by this decision.
it definitely
I
is made me
know.
think about going out and buying one now. So they're just basically getting a bunch of
Hmm.
free advertising by
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
maybe
getting
that's
rid of
what
them.
they were doing.
Maybe that's what they're doing with
Reverse.
Split. They're trying to make everybody love Split now that it's gone too.
The
And they're
Right.
big
like,
brain
maybe
plays.
sometimes we'll bring it back. Who knows? But speaking of Split, that is going to be the second map that we'll be going to, and it is going to be that Noxious pick. So I was rubbing my hands together. I was excited to see that pick because it kind of falls in once again to what we're kind of thinking is going to be the strategy for Noxious going into this game. Split is a little bit unpredictable, and if you are able to have a strong start, or at least like a strong defensive start. Unfortunately, Akuma then do have the way to pick first, and they get to have that defensive start, which could spell a little bit of disaster. But if you're able to get that mid control, everything can just end up being a little bit a-okay on Split. That next pickup is going to be Ascent as the Akuma pick, and
Mm.
we're just pretty sure that that's going to end up going Akuma's way. I don't think that they've
Mhm.
ever come close to losing on Ascent.
Yeah,
I don't even think
Mm.
anyone else has hit double digits against them on Ascent in the last like 20 games. So I think that they are certainly in a great position to be going up on that map. It's one of those tried and true ones. It's probably one
Mhm.
that I personally would have banned against them, but it's
Yeah.
hard when your comfort pick is also your opponent's comfort pick.
right. Yeah, that just makes all the decisions that much more difficult to push through. It's like, we could try to 50-50 it, but I don't believe Nox is wanted to try to go for any 50-50s in this matchup. I mean, it's the grand final, it's the last game you play of this split. Also, guys, sign up for the sign up for the fall split. It is happening in a few months, so definitely get on that if you have not already. But it's you want to give it your best shot, but you also want to, like you said earlier, do the rat strats, get
Mhm.
those sneaky plays in, those kind of underhanded moves in, and maybe you don't want to pick a
Ooh.
map you might go 50-50 on. And
Oh.
we do have the last map gonna be Icebox to round this out, as I see in the chat. Oh,
Ooh. Well, Fracture, we added Fracture to the mix. Fracture being a map that, people
Also
are
pick up by
kind of
Noxious.
okay, kind of not. Like,
okay.
people are just kind of like, this is a map that I think it's the new Icebox, right? And it's funny
Yeah.
that Icebox is the last. Everyone hated Icebox until they added Fracture. Now everyone hates Pearl. So everyone's okay with Fracture now. So I see what we're doing here,
Yeah,
guys. I
look,
totally
it's
see
every
it.
every time the new map comes out, you gotta hate
Yeah.
it until it's just like, all right, then we're used to it. I actually like
And
Pearl immediately on release. I'm like, all right, this is pretty
Me
I
cool.
too.
And I was
Yeah.
gonna say that I was like so happy. I thought that it was gonna be the same thing where everyone was gonna start hating on Pearl immediately, and then like everyone was like, "Oh, maybe this map is actually kind of good." And then like within the last week, all of a sudden everyone is like, "Pearl sucks,"
This is
and I'm like,
Yeah.
terrible.
"Well, you were all fine with it a little bit ago. What just changed all of a sudden?" And I think that they just like probably didn't practice it enough, lost too many ranked
Mhm.
games in Pearl, and that's
Yep.
their own fault, not the map's
Mhm.
fault. And I'm gonna stand by that. I think Pearl is great.
I
I
think Pearl's great
100%
too.
agree. Yeah, I think we're
Mhm.
all on the Pearl train here. Um,
Mhm.
We're a bunch of Pearl lovers.
Yeah.
as we are just waiting for the last few members of each team to load into the lobby so we can get this grand final underway. We have our map selected, we have everything mapped out. We have done the majority of our talking before this series has started. I mean, what else is there to say? I mean, we can go over everything. Like we have gone over everything. We can go over, looking back throughout the season, all the teams that have made it here so far, the teams that we are surprised didn't make it. But I think everybody kind of had Akuma pegged. I know,
Mm.
hey, definitely had Akuma pegged to get here into the
You
grand
did.
final spot.
I did not. I'm kind of sad. I was hoping that our returning champs would be coming back in the mix, Victoria, but they did not. They kind of had a weird situation, so unfortunately they were not a part of it. But hey, there's always fall, like you mentioned. If you think your team has what it takes to, be at the top and compete with some of these bad boys, make sure you sign up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if we get enough signups, maybe we can get, more groups. I know this past split for VAS for the league, we had 4 groups this time. So
Wow.
we had a considerable more amount of teams sign up to play. And I was just like, all right, yeah, let's get that all across the board. Like we do League, we do Valorant. I mean, it's just Victor's is forever expanding and forever adding more to the amateur experience, and I'm just really happy that everybody has been receiving it so well, and
Hmm.
I'm excited for the fall split. I really am. But hey, this game number one in this best of five, it's a best of five. Like
Best of five.
that's all the marbles right there.
All the
All the
marbles,
marbles and
a
all the
lot.
strats. Yeah.
Anything and everything.
Oh man.
All right. I'm a little worried. Okay, so if we're thinking that it could potentially be an Akuma 3-0, I am worried about what the first 3 maps are. They're Bind, Split, and Ascent. We're not
Hmm.
getting into those old or those kind of cheeky maps until kind of later into the series, which I don't think bodes really well for Noxious. And I was kind of waiting to like decide whether I think it's going to be a 3-0 or a 3-1 until we had map picks. And I just like Split is one of those maps that's also so old that there's going to be probably some rat plays coming out of Noxious, but I think there's going to be equally rat plays coming out from Akuma as well, and their aggression is just going to be a little bit too much. So I do think that because Bind, Split, and Ascent are the first 3 maps that we're going to be going into, Akuma doesn't pick Bind here if they don't think they can handle something that Noxious isn't going to bring to the table on that kind of map. So I'm thinking it's going to be a 3-0 from Akuma here.
Ooh. Okay, Becky.
Okay,
Keeping
okay.
it nice and honest. I like it. I'm gonna be an optimistic, hopeful, optimistic here. I think there has been a lot of research, not
Mhm.
just tested by Noxious. They played Akuma. They know what it's going to feel like. I'm hoping, and I think that it's going to really depend on the team composition, right? What team composition are you bringing? Are you bringing the exact same team composition that you brought when you got 2 and 0'd, or are you going to mix it up? So I'm waiting on that second map to really think whether it's going to be a 3 and 0. But I'm going to
Okay.
already say I don't I'm hoping, fingers crossed right here right now, all right? I'm being that hopeful optimistic that's going to say we're going to go the distance.
You
We're
want the
going it.
full 5?
I think okay, I don't know about the full 5. My caster brain might be like falling off by that time, but I do want to see Noxious make it a reverse sweep.
The 3-2? Oof. Goosey. All right, I guess I will throw my prediction in as well. I have to stick with the boys. I'm wearing the red and black today. I've counted on them
Wow.
since minute 1. I saw them. I was like, "Oh, they're in this league? Akuma, it's fancy meeting you here. Oh my goodness." I'm excited. I'm thinking the
I was getting a
3-0.
little shy.
It's just they're just so good. Akuma hype dream all the way. But we have the predictions ready. We have talked all the talk we can possibly talk. Now it is time to get into game. And I will be stepping away and I will be letting my lovely caster friends do their thing. See y'all on the other side.
Bye bye, friend. Thank you so much for lending us over to this agent select. Becky, we already see a lot of hovers, even some lock ins happening here. Shattered bringing us that Sky, Ahira bringing us that Viper. Oh man, I have to say, I hate Viper on this map.
Yeah, I think somebody who knows how to play Viper on Bind is one of the most difficult things for you to deal with, especially in contrast to something like that Brimstone. But this was something that I saw last week coming out from Akuma as well, is this double controller composition using the Brimstone and the Viper. And it looks like we might be seeing that exact same style coming out from the side of Noxious as well. Looks like the only difference that we could potentially be looking at is going to be that Sky versus that Fade. and we will be seeing 0 flashes from the side of Noxious, and they're instead going to opt for potentially this information gathering that we can get from Fade. An interesting decision overall. I think that if you're anticipating somebody to run even a kind of similar team composition to you, and you're knowing that you're potentially going to have to run through 2 controllers, I maybe would pick a different initiator other than the Fade.
Choose your
It just seems a
agent.
little scary to not have a flash to be able to come out of those smokes with.
Yeah, I completely agree. It is scary, but I do feel like Fade just is that OP at the moment. I mean, you're gathering that information. You're not only showing the trails of where exactly your opponents are, but you also can set a Prowler to go chase that opponent and double swing with it, which I've seen a lot of teams do, especially if you have someone chasing it, for example, mobility duelists like that race, to be able to get really quickly into close encounters. I think that the Fade right now may have the upper hand, but again, it shattered on the sky, shattered the one of the top players for Akuma, and I don't know. It's just scary. It's scary, and I'm excited, and I think that's gonna be the biggest battle of them all.
Yeah, I am a little bit worried though. On the matches that we got to see last week, Shattered did have a very great showing. However, did not have a great showing on the sky. Was top frag both the times that Shattered had picked up the KO, but was actually bottom fragging. I mean, they were still winning, so bottom fragging is like with an asterisk by it. But was the bottom frag for the side of Akuma. So that could be saying a lot about how comfortable Shattered is potentially on this Sky, and this might just be a pick that they're doing because they think that Sky is a better KO on maps like mine. As we're starting off, a nice little boom bot is going to give away a little bit of information, but very nice toxic screen that's set up to block off a lot of vision as they're slowly pushing.
Yeah, I really like the aggression being displayed over on the showers, just making sure that these defenders are able to take control of that and not allowing them to come in. Although the bomb is over onto this B site, they have already been spotted and they have already been heard, so they know that they're going to still be around town. The Viper's Molly being used on this B long to really push back Shatter off that angle, but Shatter's not going to be scared. He's going to jiggle peek it, use a flash.
Very nicely done. Actually able to find McLovin after 2. That's gotta hurt just a little bit. And I mean, at least make it up a little bit that Han able to do
Spike
a lot
down,
of
B.
work by distracting Ostino there. Jay Woo slowly falling after, but a 2v2 situation is not a horrible place for us to end up in at the end of the day.
Oh, you're feeling nice and mighty if you are Noxious here.
30
as you have
seconds
the man
left.
advantage, or even, I mean, a little bit of health on web spot, but there's a
player
trade-off there
standing.
for Ostino. Frank's down to a health and a dream here as the bomb is collected, and here you go. We're about to go onto this. Plant the swing comes through, and Franks is able to collect Ostino.
Frank's doing a nice job playing that one really slow and waiting for the play to have to come out from Ostino there. You know that is why Akuma, every single time that they have the ability to pick, they always start off on defense. Something about their play style, we've called them WQ Warriors, but there's a lot to be said about their defensive play as well. They really are able to kind of dissect how their opponents play when starting off on this defensive side, and then use that information to go into how they play on the attacking side as well. And it just kind of all comes together. It's beautiful pattern recognition and something that we're able to see them do time and time again, and I think a big reason that we see so much success from them.
Yeah, and like you said, you have that Viper's Wall just to create that same pattern over and over. They're taking control of that showers, but this time around it's going to be the Viper Cloud to hold off this lamps angle so that Demo cannot peek on through, but it's going to be that trademark that's going to give away the position of website and does get hit very low on health. And that's kind of the unfortunate thing about this attacker team is they don't have any heals. They're going to have to rely purely on their utility to get onto site and their aim as well.
That aim's a lot less potent on those demos, just kind of able to continue to sit there, continue to be annoying, show their face every once in a while, and then just back up once again, get little bits of damage here and there, and Wappa looking a little bit worse for wear on that note.
That's an interesting name. Wappa. I like it. I like it a lot, and what I like
a
is
Burger King
30 seconds
Whopper.
left.
yeah, Wappa gonna swing on through, but Demo has that perfect teleportation out of there. Paint Shells holding off this shower's control. It's gonna be the sandwich coming into town. Bologna, maybe. I don't know, turkey could be, but it's gonna be the flip to the B side as Demo is already on the side. Viper Cloud does just enough damage to help
One
a friend
enemy
out,
remaining.
and that's an easy 3K,
Spike
leaving
down,
just
B.
Ostino left alive once more, but not for long as Demo's headshots are just too crispy clear, giving us that perfect flawless.
Yeah, so I'm gonna bring us back to what we were talking about on desk a little bit here. We really were talking about how Noxious going into this is gonna have to go for some crazy plays. And normally I would think that Bind would be like a good map for that, but it also is one of those maps that kind of gives you this false sense of security. A lot of the time you're like, oh, okay, A isn't working out. Cool thing that there's these teleporters that I can go through. But this has been a map that's around for so long. The enemies can take the teleporters as well. It gets very televised, which is one of the reasons that in best of threes you don't usually end up seeing this map. People don't like how televised their plays end up being at the end of the day. And I think that that's a reason that you don't really get away with quite as many ratty things as you can. Yasser, at least, better crosshair placement on those crouches.
Oh, Sakura! That Molly doing some damage. That does help the position if the bomb is over onto that B site. They created a lot of noise on A. They also got the initial pick, so they do have the man advantage. They're still going to aggress onto this B site, but they're going to have to worry about Ahira as well as Shattered, who have been doing a phenomenal job at just holding down the site with the Poisonous Cloud as well as that Toxic Screen. As soon as contact comes into it, that wall's going to come up. Shattered very deep into this hookah, waiting for the swing off as Ahira goes down, but Shattered still holding down hookah. Good for two. And just enough to stay alive with Degrees just around the corner to help a friend out.
A lot of the attackers on the site. The site is open.
30
but
seconds left.
They don't quite realize that right now, and they still haven't gotten the bomb down. A lot of time just being eaten away here by a lot of cautious play where maybe we just need to see Noxious be a little bit more aggressive than we're really getting to see here. And this is what I'm kind of saying. There's
10 seconds
10
left.
seconds left on the map now.
That's
Akuma on this
crazy.
defense does know that there's a time that Noxious has to overplay it now. They're using that time.
He did put the bomb.
They're
Last player
palm of
standing.
Akuma's hands, though, thankfully, they're just better with those crossfires, able to make that happen. And now Demo, though, got a 4K last round. Can it happen once again?
Ask for the swing from McNulty, and then the clean off there does happen and come through. They were patient, and I think they were rewarded by that, Becky. They were a little bit too slow. I could see how the timer just got a very, very slim on that. But hey, you got the plant down, you got the point, you're feeling good, although an expensive round on your behalf.
Yeah, I think that they at least learned from the rounds that they had before, where they also went down to less than 10 seconds on the timer, and they were at least using all of that time before to be able to check places instead of kind of floundering in those final few seconds, being like, where are we going? Where are we going? Okay, go through the teleporter, try to go on to B. Instead, they were using that time before to thoroughly make sure everyone was cleared out, were able to get the jump through some of those crossfires, and thankfully it worked out in their favor this time around.
Oh man, that robot did so much damage to Yasser. He's gonna have to rely really on the teammates and just to get off a few picks just to make it worth it here. Franks gives up sight, waiting for the rest of the team to rotate over. As you can see, they're both holding down the showers just to make sure that Viper's Pit is gonna be very hard to retake the site. A spam through this toxic Viper's Pit to try to do some damage, but does not connect. They thankfully have that Trailblazer to hopefully spot out someone, but hey, you're not that lucky, Shattered, as if it's gonna be the toxic wall as well. Very well used here to pop out on this last Ostino from Ahira. The Vipers snake bite as well helps do some damage, but Ostino is holding down the Vipers like a pro.
Last player standing.
Just like that, Demo's the only one left. That decay not going away and allows for McLovin to get the kill from beyond the grave. I mean, this is an interesting situation that we're ending up in because we also kind of got to see the reason that that sky is really shining. Allowed for Akira to pick up 2 kills in that situation because we had to have one person end up blinded from the side of Noxious. as well as one person back away to avoid being blinded. And that's just one of the beauties that you get to see from picking up that flash initiator. And something that I still haven't really been able to see from the Fade. It's kind of been a show of a lot of these other players. People like Yasser and people like McLovin on this Brimstone have really been kind of the shining factors for Noxious so far. And I'd love to see this Fade do a little bit of a step up.
I do enjoy how Noxious is playing a little bit of a different mindset every single round. Last time we saw them just really push into that A site. This time around, doing a default and getting rewarded for it. Fade getting that first initial pick onto the Viper. Ahira goes down, so you're not going to have that toxic cloud. You're not going to have the snake bite. You're not going to have that toxic wall to really hold them off the site. Although this is looking like it might not be the right answer for Noxious as they're trying to go for the site with the most players on it.
Yeah, I also just have so many questions about what that little smoke into walking in front of it was from Ahira. I'm a pretty big Ahira fan, but okay, taking care of the trademark that is there, that's totally fair, but I feel like we could have been able to walk on the trademark.
Oh my goodness!
Shattered only finds one despite a ton of
30 seconds left.
Blinded Wappa, able to get that trade back very nicely, and now the rotation's able to come through. And Wappa does have the bomb, but Wappa is alone. And speaking of trademarks,
oh, I don't like this. I don't like this one bit. 13 seconds. Gonna plant. Has to commit to it. There's no way they can rotate. The rest of the defenders are already on site. Operator is heaven and connects with Wappa. Now looking for another. As that Fade shows the position of two of those defenders. It's gonna be the Nighthawk coming out to the town, showing exactly where these defenders are. We're gonna use the C's as well. Do a little bit of extra damage. Connects with both, but hey, no one's gonna swing that. They're just gonna play time, and I like this. Yes, you know exactly where they are, but you are playing for that point. And all you have to do is hold it.
yeah, and unfortunately, the Brimstone, no smokes left, so Yasser is going to
Last player standing.
trying to please go retrieve that operator. Not going to be a successful mission for that Brimstone. Degrees. Now the only player remaining thinking, maybe I can go grab this operator, but we might just end up falling to this bomb as well. And it looks like that's going to be the call. Is Noxious actually able to pull ahead here. And very nicely able to get these rotations. They're kind of making my heart race every single time they get down to the wire there, but they've been able to make it work the last few rounds. And I gotta applaud them for that. Wappa, all alone, being able to just go onto site, plant the bomb. We are seeing them kind of at the bottom of the board here, but is being able to go onto a lot of these sites, just do those blast packs, be able to cover a lot of distance, gather a little bit of information. And you know, thankfully, they've given us this Sentinel that's not really a Sentinel, and Yasser's been able to clean up a lot of kills, a lot of those first bloods, find some in the later rounds as well. And we mentioned Ostino before we even got into the game as somebody to watch, has really good crosshair placement, as well as just being a demon on these guns. So a great set of players at the top, making up for some of the places where they could potentially be a little bit weaker.
Prowler gonna be the first onto the site. Not gonna see Degrees, who's holding the cheekiest angle of them all. It does shoot some shots, but unfortunately does not connect. Thinks about throwing those paint shots, but second guesses. That's gonna be the full lamps control for Ostino in there. But Degrees swings Ostino as well. The trade-offs do happen there. Viper is still sitting in that Viper space. Ahira hoping some way catch a sneaky little flank. It's gonna be the Vipers connecting, but no, it's gonna be demo action for one, giving the man advantage over to these defenders as the bomb makes its way over on Ahira. Just down confidence. Wall bangs that, and now he's snake bite. Ostino's definitely in a position here. There's a cloud to try to push forward, but guess what? There's a second snake bite. You can't push that. Otherwise, you're very low on health. You have
30
two
seconds
options.
left.
Get out with your life, or swing on to the bomb, and little do they know there's two players after this cloud. Oh, man.
Yeah. And just like that, Akuma gets themselves that round back. I mean, if there's anything that Noxious can take to give themselves a little bit of a pat on the back for going into this next round, it's that Degrees has got to be tilted out of their mind. You go into a situation like that, nobody sees you, you miss the initial shot, you try to change to another target, you miss that shot as well, you try to drop down. A situation where you literally should have been able to kill 3 players and all of a sudden you're walking out of it with 1. it just has got to feel so bad. So I would just be trying to capitalize on the players that you think are tilted. You kind of mentioned this. If you are knowing that you're a little bit worse than some of the other players in the game, trying to play onto the site where players are potentially a little bit mental, not the greatest, can be something that is a huge help to you. This is something that players do in solo queue at high levels all the time, and something that we get to see every once in a while in these team games as well.
Yeah, if you are not
Teleport's
you're
ready.
hoping that that is the case. And once again, I keep talking about the change of momentum, the change of playstyles that Noxious is bringing to the table. And this time around, they bring this default. They're hoping that someone pushes out. And as you can see, I think Akuma finally knows, you know what, we can't overextend. They
Prepare
are
for
hitting those
hellfire.
shots, and Franks and Demo are rewarded for their patience. The flash is going to come on through as
There
soon
they
as they
are.
get some confirmation that there's some around town. There you go, there's that flash up along, and now Viper has to really think, do I want to commit here, or do I want to make my way over onto A, where Brimstone McLoveny does have control of land. He's very deep, but very patient as well.
Just like this. I mean, of the 5 remaining Akuma
30
players,
seconds
2
left.
sets of them are playing together, are trying to trade off of each other, and now we're going to be able to communicate and continue to stay together as long as possible as we're getting a hero stay fight that default plant location.
Oh, Becky, I'm just as stressed as you are about that time. Once again, they hold it down to the wire, and it's going to be
10
the
seconds
satchel
left.
that kind of knocks him off. Not going to be able to play
One
the
enemy
shots
remaining.
through the smoke.
Strike down
And
A.
Hera, once again, clean triple K.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're going to be watching the Vipers a lot this game, because Akira has been a player that has impressed me as far as utility usage on every single controller, as well as Ostino being a player that just, we mentioned it, is kind of the fragger for the squad, which is a little bit weird once you realize that Ostino is also that controller
10 seconds
player.
left.
But, you know, hey, you get them on whatever
remaining.
player you can get them on, and as long as your duelist is doing their duelist job of going in, I didn't even know you could put that little poison orb in that lamp, but I guess poison lamp time.
All these sneaky little TikTok. That should be a TikTok. I'm offended that they do not have a TikTok for that. What I'm also offended is the fact that now we're thinking about getting those initial picks. Demo not going to allow that from Ostino. There's going to be no picks over onto that A site. They do know that someone teleported, and Ahira is already in that teleporter waiting. Just waiting for some comms from their team. The bomb is making its way up B long. Not a lot of utility has been committed. Actually, Sky's gonna
Now
shoot
we're
on
cooking.
through blind one. McLovin goes
trained
down.
you?
Make that 2 as Yasser adds to the count of Franks, and they're gonna continue their aggression over onto B long. The bomb really deciding if they want to go into hookah. They haven't cleared hookah, so they're gonna have to worry about. And what I would also be worried about is Demo holding that CT with the operator. Has not lost it since that 3rd point.
Speaking of patience, we're getting to see 2 remaining members of Noxious do a great job. No, somebody went through that teleporter and saying,
30
yeah,
seconds
we'll
left.
wait here, and Jwoo roared with a Vandal, which could be instrumental in helping them be able to clutch this round up. I'm sorry, Degrees, but if you're feeling it, sometimes you just gotta step back, take a deep breath, make sure that your hands aren't sweaty. We gotta start taking shots.
One enemy
Demo.
remaining.
Ooh. Okay, there's Degrees. Degrees is like, you want some
There's the
shots,
shots,
Becky?
Degrees.
I
There's
got
the
you.
shots. That's what we've been wanting to see. Bring that energy, Degrees. Come on, we know how you usually perform in these games, and we're looking to see it here. We know the bottom of the board is not where you usually want to be. Maybe you just need to get to that attacking side to really start to feel it, but it's all okay. We're getting there somehow, some way, and if that double kill at the end of the round is going to be a big part of it, albeit. And, I mean, we're seeing it again. Noxious. They're playing this scary game where they're playing really down to the wire, to those last 10 seconds on the board. And it's working for them sometimes, but I think that we're getting to a point where Akuma is starting to see through it.
Oh no. Expo with that ultimate quite not connecting. Was hoping that there was going to be someone roaming around in hookah, and did not get rewarded. And now Yasser, though, catching Ahira onto that rotation from a short. though, retreats, which I really like this. It's important to not get overly zealous once you get a kill, right? Especially when you have a man advantage. Shatter has done phenomenal with those guiding lights, but, what's the? Okay, trading on. They do trade one another. With those paint shells from the afterlife from Degrees there, it's going to be still the man advantage left for the side of Noxious as they make their way over on, or they try to fake. They were like, okay, we're gonna fake it out, but Shatter is not faked by anything. Shatter is gonna hold the angle, guiding light out, get that information, and just wait till they commit.
Oh, this is kind of a scary place for Shatter to be waiting as well because we're
30
starting
seconds left.
coming from long as well, dropping down, immediately moving towards Franks, and that
Spike
was a
down,
great call
B.
to make because it at least allowed
One
us to get
enemy
two.
remaining.
You know, Becky, I don't think we
Frank.
talk about Franks. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, this is what I learned from watching Akuma last week. You're gonna have a time to talk about literally every single one of their players at some point. But I do remember, and this is kind of a similar situation, is that if anybody is going to be picking up kills in a round, Franks is going to be picking up at least 3 in a round. Franks doesn't pick up just 1 or 2 kills. Franks picks up 3 to 4
Spike
on a
down,
given
B.
round. Either everyone just
One
falls
enemy
into the
remaining.
palm of Frank's hand, or we get a little bit of a I get aggressive and then eventually fall. But I think that
You
the
want to
play
play?
style
Let's
is also
play.
a big part of Akuma's like buddy system that they use. We're seeing a lot of 2 people playing together, 2, and then you have the situation that somebody's gonna die and somebody's gonna collect all the kills, unless you're one of these duelists or chambers using an operator where you're just getting done kills.
Oh no.
As well as taking the shots through, I mean, the communication between this Raze and Viper, because we know that Oculus was likely able to see them start to move forward. Immediately rewarded. Ostino, though.
Oh man, the operator is finally down. These sheriffs are doing massive work, but not before Demo
Spike
adds
down
on the
A.
kill count. It is a 3v2 Viper is very low. Ostino needs to really think about whether they want to come in here, and yes, they do, as that Viper's pick gets placed down. Gives them a place to hide, but you also have to think, hey, there's a Sky somewhere around town, and Sky also has the secret, so we're gonna send them into this site to explore where these attackers are, and just like that, Ostino and JOL live a short life.
Yeah, those cabbages, they don't have to breathe. Jellyfish live underwater, and I guess that means that they don't care about toxic smoke, so they seek out Ostino, and then the shooting from Ostino reveals the location. Shattered nicely able to clean that one all up. Sign sealed and delivered. And the Akuma are looking to bring themselves to an 8-4 half, as we got 2 more rounds left into this half. And I mean, I'm sure if you're Noxious, you're hoping, trying to think, okay, of those 3 rounds that we were able to win, what was starting to work? What did we get in our favor? And can we do it again since we're at an even buy going into this round?
Yeah, I'm surprised that no timeout has been called. Guys, we are able to call timeouts. If anyone would like to take one, that would be phenomenal. But this time around, I do like how the Viper decided to rotate over onto the A site. They no longer have it like rotating over onto that B. Now you can have both of the Viper walls into this A site, and that just seems very chaotic. But we do know that Noxious works well under chaotic conditions, and this time around, though, Demo not going to allow that to happen. But what is going to be allowed to happen is going to be that push onto this A site. They have control of the front of A site, but they still need to worry about the back because Degrees is also back there with an operator and a showstopper. It does not hit the target, so
Showstopper never leaves.
yeah, I feel like they nerfed it without telling anybody. Like, surprise!
When it doesn't do anything all of a sudden, oh, back and forth, Shattered all of a sudden. Gonna fall there, slowly coming into this pit.
Shatter holding a half. The swing does happen. Ostino's still alive.
Last
Still on the
player
body.
standing.
And there
One
it is.
enemy remaining.
Love and me able to clutch it out.
Last round in the half.
I mean, this is one of those things where if you're Noxious, you've got to start to be scared because Akuma are finding their stride. And I'm going to tell you what the tell is for it. This is something that would definitely be a little bit difficult to tell from the attacking standpoint, but we can see it here at home. And that is the way that we saw the chambers both push out, but Demo pushed out
One
so
enemy
far,
remaining.
didn't even care that we were past that rendezvous point. Was just like, okay, I'm gonna peek out, be able to move back. Unfortunately, is gonna get a little bit once bitten, twice shy here. Should have been a little bit more shy in this situation because
Blinded.
that was not exactly how you want that to go. Now we're gonna be jousting against two members of Noxious. Shattered. Yeah, maybe we wait for Franks to come and buddy up here.
Okay, Molly lineup, trying to reposition. Unfortunately, it is. Franks is always around town, ready to help a friend out, get some damage done, but does not get the kill. And with that, the bomb is making its way over onto Hookah, where they don't have any control of. But Webspa hasn't created that space, and I think that's a little bit of a problem with Noxious, is they're not willing to take those really risky plays. Yes, it's risky, but if you are able to take that space, then you're able to really communicate with your team, and you could have potentially sandwiched Franks and Shattered, and with that, they're not going to be able to get that space, so they're going to just lean over onto the safe side, where once again, they have to really have that space. With this orbital strike, they are going to help reposition, as well as that haunt. It's going to give the freeze, and Yasser finally coming out from showers. NX. But the bomb cannot. Oh, the bomb is going to get planted, but a lot of damage.
Last player standing.
Okay, and all of a sudden we're left just up to Frank. Everyone usually gets a lot of multi-kills when we're able to see them, but that is usually in those buddied up situations, and at 19 HP, a far cry from possible here, so we very likely, yeah, okay. Flawless round from action. Looking at an 8-4 half. I would have loved to be proven wrong, just saying. 1v5
Switching
at
sides.
19 HP doesn't seem like it is going to be a whole lot of possibilities there, but we are going for this swap, and I think this is a place where we're really going to see the sky kind of shine for Akuma's composition, and it's a place where I kind of worry for the style that we were seeing from Noxious. We were getting to see a lot of kind of that late game floundering, that a little bit of struggling from decision making, but hopefully they're going to be able to bring it all together. Got that final round win, are able to keep their head up. 8-4 is not too bad, and certainly a place where the defensive side can start to come back into this game.
Yeah, you just get those 2 pistol rounds, get you back into the swing of things, 2 points away, no problem. I have to talk about those Viper walls. It's gonna be Akuma trying to do like a bait and switch type of scenario, right? But Noxious, they might have done their homework. As you can see, they are 3-stacking this B side. Yasser gets extremely confident and immediately gets started into the Breeze. Breeze holding it down for the squad, and just like that, the site is gonna be hit hard. Akira with the Vipers. Big fight there, gets the connect, and there goes Frank. The Robo Oxel getting into the mix, and this is just fun and games for Akuma.
I mean, we mentioned it, Akuma, W key warriors, and push adds by the whole unit, and now we're getting to see the Breeze really come alive, just attacking side, able to just take control of that site, find 3 kills to start this side off, and I think that this is where we're just going to see Akuma kind of run through this game. Because this is one of those things, if you are one of those teams doing a lot of scrims, it's a lot easier to come up with strategies for attacking side rather than defensive side on a lot of agents. So you get to see a lot of the kind of shining strategies once a team is on an attacking side, and I'd love to see some strategies be shown for the defensive side from Akuma, but so far, I mean, it's only been 1 round, so there's a lot of time left, but hasn't happened quite yet.
Oh, that's a field cat for Yasser. The crosshair was just a smidge off. Had the right idea, but unfortunately could not connect.
Smoke's down.
And once again, thinking that Akuma's trying to do this bait and switch. The bomb isn't even anywhere onto the B side, but with that confirmation from the Trailblazer that there's no one around town, they're just gonna get onto it nice and easy, like a stroll on the beach. Just relax with the breeze blowing through your hair. And Demo is going to be the first contact here. Actually, McLovin is going to get rewarded once, and Yasser as well with that headhunter. Though it's still a 3v3 as attackers have the bomb planted and have the better weapons as well. Oh, did I say better weapons? Never mind. Yasser said I could pick up a couple weapons of my own. I'll take hold.
Ooh, a nice seize to stop.
Last player standing.
Unfortunately, Akira with the assist. Akuma players never play alone. You've always got to be waiting for all those people to peek out. And the moment that Ahira is in distress, Demo able to do that peek, those 1v2 is just going to be so difficult for you to be able to conquer. And all of a sudden, Akuma in a double-digit situation here. And are going to be able to keep the guns that they bought from that previous round unless they fell. Looks like we are going to see some big saves coming out from those players who did die previously. Maybe at least just save enough to be able to buy full into next. And frenzies and sheriffs to go along. I mean, we've been able to see some great kills from those frenzies, so I'm looking to see it here once again. But this one does look to be favored.
Oh, yes, Stino collecting the first fade, helping out with that stun onto Brimmy here. Not going to fully commit. There is a crossfire happening there, and with that, it does hold him a little bit off of sight. But there goes one. Noxious and Jewu making the dream stay alive here. West swings on through, gets the last two, and brings them up to 5. Although there's still a huge mountain to climb here, Becky.
There certainly is when you're half the points of your opponent, but hey, if you got that round, you were able to only lose one player, so your economy not looking too rough, and certainly with a few players who are able to buy up Jewu here, we should be looking to be in a pretty okay scenario for them on this defensive side. So not looking too bad. Should be able to keep their heads up and keep strong into this game. This defensive side is certainly a place where if you're patient enough, you can get a lot of equity.
Catch them. Patience is Jewu holding down this shower. Uses the C's to hold them off just a tad longer. The satchels are no longer available for Raze as they use them to get control of the showers. But the showstopper is going to be a really nice help to get onto the site. Swings it through, but hey, that's 2-0 for the showstoppers. But Jewu says not to find me. Gonna collect one. Hans does not connect, but knows that there's gonna be some around town. Needs to move because yo, that Molly is hitting hard.
Spike planted.
Yeah, that was a rough situation there. Decided to go for ulting before being taken down by that Molly, and we'll see if the rest of the team is able to capitalize on it. So far,
player
McLovin and Wappa being able to pick up kills is a great start. Make that nightfall worth it before your teammates fell. Shattered, only blinded. Blind for everybody. Just taking shots through the smoke.
Oh my goodness.
Unfortunately, can't find them, and we're making sure that that nightfall was worth it from that fallen comrade of Jewu. Very nicely done by Noxious at the end there.
If they have to do it, they got to do it now, and it's getting those initial first bloods, holding down the site, and making sure that you can rely on your buddies. We were talking about how Akuma's great at the buddy system, and I think that was a pretty good shot at the buddy system there for Noxious as well.
Sometimes you gotta be able to take a page out of your opponent's book, kind of copy what they're doing if you're gonna have a chance at defeating them. And I think that Noxious is a game where we're seeing quite a battle between these two teams. Akuma going back for strategies that they used in the very first round.
Yeah, but it's going to be a page out of their opponent's book as well. Taking one from Demo, says Yasser. I can also hit some shots through the smoke. In case you were wondering here. And they're going to read Akuma like a book. The smoke is going to get them off of Hookah, at least for a second. Going to be some wall banging here from McLovin. And a second smoke going to be used with the Savage. Bring them onto the site. Opens up the choke point, but it's going to be the straight
down
through the
B.
smoke. Ostino takes one. Akira's still alive though, so this Viper Spit's still going to be into action. Demo not quite planting the bomb. Degrees tries to hold him off with that robot. Does not manage to achieve it. Demo very low on health.
Last player standing.
39 seconds. Akira does the biggest flank of their
down
life
B.
and clutches it out.
Very nicely done from Ahira there. Goes all the way around through elbow. Oh, that was so scary because I almost wondered too. There was a moment where Ostino was kind of playing around towards Garden and kind of just like peeking in and out, trying to make those shots through that Viper's Pit. And I was like, did we see Ahira leave? Did we see Ahira leave the Viper's Pit or no? And I guess at the end of the day, Ostino just didn't notice it or wasn't in the right place at the right time. We do have a little bit more information than the players do, so something I could have picked up on that they couldn't. And just being able to do that move, we almost also saw Astino be able to get that flick off, just barely not able to complete it. And now we're actually seeing Akuma take this time for a timeout, the team that is ahead and on the attacking side. So interesting decision, but it's something that we actually see Akuma do a lot. When we watched them last week in their semifinals matchup against UCD, they took all of their timeouts in every single one of the games, and I think that is a huge strength that they have. They use their timeouts. I'm not sure what for. It could just be to have those little bit of a breathing exercise, those little bit of breathing exercises, a little bit of level-headed moments. Maybe Ahira needs to have a gotta wipe my hands off because I just did the clutch of my life and they're sweating really bad. Whatever it is for, trying to figure out how to close up this game as they're at 11, close to being a match point and close to finishing this game off in this first one.
You want to play? Let's play.
Yeah, just to keep that momentum, maybe talk about it, maybe even celebrate. You know, you're like, dude, I can't believe we clutched that out. Degrees also feeling themselves had a little bit of a slow start, but definitely not stopping now as they continue to grow their lead by another. The double team gonna happen, but Demo's gonna miss and reposition off. Showstopper also gets invested. A line comes through and Shatter hits them all. Looking for that 2K. The reload though to kill that party. Unfortunately, Jay Woo though does pick up that weapon and manages to just slow things down and reposition themselves. The bomb though, it's making its way onto the B site where McLevany is holding down site, has full utility as well as that orbital strike. Connects one, uses pure gunplay, but Degree says that's not gonna get you all, buddy. Now it's just down to one lonesome Jay Woo.
Spike planted.
That's one into Degrees, finds one kill, but we've mentioned it time and time again. If you're seeing one member of Akuma, there can't be one very
Match
far
point.
behind, as long as they're not the only player remaining just like that, able to finish that one up. Just get themselves to match point. Once again, double the score of Noxious. And Noxious looks like they're deciding exactly how they want to handle moving forward in this game if they're going to stay in it. 3 players dedicated towards that A site. A lot of work that
I've got your trail.
A lot of distance spread between all these players and a very quick rotation actually going to come out. And Akuma might get a little bit of a fake.
Oh man, Astino just sprayed through the wall. I'm gonna have to check those hack walls there because I don't know, that looked like too cheesy peasy. The bomb though is already making its way onto this B side and even catching the rotation. It's going to be Webspa with an answer to Frank's. The bomb though is still gonna make its way onto that side and plant it on through and here and continues to grow here as they take one more down. Actually, it's going to be the attackers with the man disadvantage, and Demo very low on health, so that does not stop him. He's going to push onto the CT. He hears them coming around, and is this going to be a Hero 2.0 here, Becky?
Teleport's ready.
We'll see. They have that orb set up. They're using it by trying to
Last player standing.
as long as possible. Everyone is on site, though. And not quite able to make it happen. We actually did see that we tried to get like as crazy with playing with that same routine. Unfortunately, not quite able to do it. That agent advantage, as you mentioned, being a little bit too potent. And those 3 remaining players doing a great job of playing together and continuing to keep their hold on that game. That Haunt, even though it wasn't able to ping anybody out, did let them know where exactly we were seeing that Viper in hiding. So going forward in this game, we're going to need to see a lot of that kind of same level. Noxious has been doing a great job of just holding. When they play together, good things happen. The moment that they start to do those split ups, things go very poorly. As Ultimate ready here, we'll see if we actually decide to use it as a result of those bullets being sprayed out.
Oh man, Webspa getting really aggressive onto this hookah. I mean, everyone's getting aggressive, but we're being honest. Look at this. Yasser says, I gotta swing. I'm gonna swing. Shatter blinds, connects. And just like that, you do get a little bit of a trade-off, although we have to talk about the fade being very low. Ostino got a little too aggressive there onto that showers and got a little bit hurt from that. Here, a trade for a trade onto the Vipers. And the bomb's not even on site. I always get so mind blown at the fact that Akuma makes it seem like they're gonna hit this site so tremendously hard, but the spike isn't even anywhere around town.
Yeah, I think that also might be a little bit of a weak
Toxin
spot
screen
for
down.
Noxious as they get a little bit happy to rotate and don't wait as long as they maybe should for an exact hit. And they should be having a lot of players fall back the moment that they hear those bullet sprays and trying to play together because that's where
30
they
seconds
find
left.
success. And I also don't know why we were holding on to that Nightfall from the pushed on by Shatter. Just 11 who's gonna fall, and nice follow up of that bird does force Ostino to not be able to immediately peek right out.
Oh, and then you have the bait and switch, the fun about
10
buying.
seconds
You just get
left.
to rotate over onto the next site as your friend Shatter, the little ninja, is in the background. Oh, paint shells connecting from across the map, therefore giving you this 2v2, but they don't know that Shatter is still making his way over from that A site. They're gonna be cut off.
One
Actually,
enemy remaining.
Ostino is about
Last
to
player
peek, not
standing.
fast enough though. Wespa loses his life to that flank, and now it's gonna be the Brimstone versus the Viper. There is that cloud to help the defusal, and pros don't fake. The spam not connecting, and just like that, it's going to be Noxious living another day, but without a weapon.
They won the previous round, so their economy is okay enough that they can at least have rifles in their pocket. They're a little bit light on shields, but considering the economy of
Last
Akuma,
player
that
standing.
might be an okay situation for them. We see Ostino actually is going to opt to trade into the Judge, which considering that Ostino has that Viper's Pit ready to go, seems like a great decision. I was very kind of anxious about Jwoo holding on to this Nightfall. I was like, your opponent's on match point, you're stuck, like, you might as well use it, but he's gonna hold it and potentially just use it to be coupled along with this Viper's Pit this round, or go and use it for a I think that's something that they're able to make work.
Welcome to
Following
my
the
world.
Viper's Pit goes up. Certainly going to be a worry. Now that Judge is in the hands of Degrees, and there's a Viper's Pit in the zone.
This is going to be a little scary. You still have that Nightfall, as you're saying. Nightfall is going to come through and going to go show the position of at least one. The Prowler also showing the position of the Viper. That is who you want. Paint shells! A hero runs straight into those paint shells. And just like that, the Viper spit is gone. Done.
Player
Degrees
standing.
tries to swing on with that shotgun, but it's going to be Wepsa on top. Frank's last person standing here for the winning team, but not for long here as Noxious lives to see another day. Just 3 points away from taking us into overtime. 4 points. Math is harder, right?
Oh, 3 points. Well, 3 points would put us at 12, and yeah.
I was right.
Yeah, you were right the first time. It just hadn't changed yet because the defuse didn't go through. So there was a little bit of confusion there. Wappa has that.
Player standing.
Whether you think that that ultimate from Raze really does anything or not, Degrees and Wappa both have them ready going into this one. The thing that I'm really looking out for is Shattered with these Seekers at the ready. A great way to be able to scope out how many players are on each side of the map and make your decision of where you're attacking a lot easier, especially now that they are able to full buy going into this round after the previous save.
Sir, you're gonna get punished? No, you should just hold on.
I've
to the
got your
site.
trail.
Your comments here. Showstopper for Degrees, gonna see what it can do. Unfortunately, gets locked down by that C's. Tangled up and waiting for it to DCs there as we get onto this B site. That Viper's wall is going to allow for a little bit of security, but it actually has gone down. It's gonna be Degrees with the paint shells getting rewarded. A spam through heaven does not connect. So the bomb is gonna be able to get onto the site. But yo, the Showstopper in return for Wepsa. Oh, these Showstoppers have been
down
so
A.
devastating. As a Raze player, I'm just sad for everyone.
One enemy
Has
remaining.
not hit the Showstoppers. But McLovin Knee is able to get the 2K, still keeping the dream alive, bringing Noxious. If they're able to get this last kill onto Demo, onto the 10th point. hoping. They're hoping and praying. They think they know that he's gonna be coming from this showers position.
30 seconds
But Demo's
left.
holding this off angle. Oh, looks away for a spin! And just like that, McLovin's able to creep into the perfect angle and get Demo off of this map, allowing for Noxious to get the 10th point.
And now we're back in a rough situation as far as economy is concerned for Akuma. At least two of their players definitely not going to be able to full a buy.
Spike down A.
Just like that, we might actually be seeing a situation where Noxious could bring this right back. They had half the points of Akuma, but they've been able to win 4 in a row, bring themselves to this 10-12 score line. And their economy is looking pretty strong.
You want to
here,
play?
so
Let's
certainly
play.
if you're a Noxious fan, keep those fingers crossed because you're really sending the good vibes their way, and it is going swimmingly for them to keep holding on in this match.
Oh, the I'm sorry, the tour de force. I can't do the French accent like the VCT, so I do apologize here, fans. Not French, Mexican, so don't quite get that accent. But that's going to be something to be feared for in the hands of Demo. He has been absolutely disgusting on the defense. Can he be disgusting on the attack is what Akuma is hoping for with these Brimstones in position. They're going to hit this B site hard, although they're going to be met with a snake bite and the pain shells that don't do as much damage. Oh, poor Westbug going to push on through and does find one, but not before Shatter also connects and trades off for the end here. Now it's going to be the orbital strike in the backhands of Brimstone, so they're going to be playing for that. It's only just one person remaining on the site. It's going to be Shattered, who only has a Sheriff. End's position has been taken with that haunt. Yasser quickly connects. Demo's gonna allow for this sneaky through. Connects with Ostino. The bomb's getting defused, and the pros don't fake. The bomb's gonna be held all the way through.
One enemy remaining.
They will gonna stay on. Orbital strike. Also invested.
Thrifty.
Wow.
Attackers
barely
win.
in the nick of time. The Thrifty alone. I mean, this is what I'm saying. I said it on the desk before we came in. I'm going to say it again. Valorant isn't just a shooting
with that. Everybody's really loving DNF Duel.
ENF.
Yep. DNF Duel, baby. I think most of our signups are either for that or for Guilty Gear tomorrow.
Hmm.
Making brackets is so annoying.
Well,
So we have 20 for DNF Duel and 14 for Guilty Gear.
well.
Ay, ay, ay.
Ew. That means doing me 20 seconds. Wow. Gavelia.
Dun, 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 dun. Who?
Maybe if I use your full name.
Oh, the coach. Got it. Ay, 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 ay. Okay. Me and my massive water bottle. You know.
Your name is invisible. Yeah.
My friend is really trying to invite me to a game right now. Like, I didn't just say, hey, I'm working.
But don't you want to play?
You know, you're right.
It's kind of crazy because like Noxious is like technically a higher like technically all their players are higher ranked.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some of these motherfuckers haven't played their ranks yet for some reason.
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's true.
like, I'm like, hello.
That's true.
I think so. Demo's ass over here. Demo's ass over here ascended to. Like,
I'm here. I just
Okay.
grabbed snack.
there she's.
What? Hey, I said that Molly do be hitting hard, and I
Yep.
couldn't stop myself from laughing.
Incredible.
I know, content. Can I just like shove this turtle down my throat? Okay.
Oh!
Save the turtles. Can I tell players?
Well, I mean, you may not have been able to see our faces, but yeah, apparently, damn sure heard our wonderful conversation. So, hey, welcome back. Game number one, really intense, literally down to the millisecond action there towards the end. We had that question at the top of the day: can Noxus compete with Akuma, or is this going to be a wash? It showed that they can really compete with Akuma here. So it's just a matter of, can they redouble that effort, bring us to a one-to-one scenario as we are going to split for this next map. Any quick comments and concerns for this one?
This is going to be Noxious's map pick, and I think that their strategy is going to just be scrappy. It's something that was kind of working a little bit for them on Bind. It got to be kind of close, but I'm just really eager to see what their actual strategies are instead of just hypothesizing in my own head.
Facts. I just want them to get good and get cracked. And the turtle was good in case anyone was wondering. So let's get to it.
Turtles are often always good. Let me just make sure everybody is ready to rock, and so we can get into this map agent select rather. As I do have ours coming in. Yeah, Shattered, he's ready. All right, cool, 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 cool. So,
He would be ready.
I mean, he's always stay ready. Finger on
Yeah.
the trigger, demon, always. Oh, well, Wappa says somebody's getting water, so never mind. I was about to say,
Oh no.
I was about to say deuces for a hot second, but no.
Together.
All
We will
right.
give him time to be hydrated, as that is very
Yes.
important when it comes to something like this.
Yeah. Oh, well,
Very
in the meantime, since I have time, I do want to say, like we stated before, this has been the last time that Noxious and Akuma played, the closest they were, right? Besides this game one that we just saw. That was basically a replica of that. So if Noxious could play just as good and a smidge, maybe, I think what ended up happening was Degrees ended up turning on the stove and getting lit. So if we can keep Degrees at that kind of mid level, I think that would have really, really helped continue that momentum. Also, I feel like Noxious was a little bit closer than. Sorry, they were a little bit slower to adjust on the defensive side at half. Had they adjusted just a tad quicker, I think would have done wonders for them. They started going onto that like really quick comeback, right? They had what, 4 or 5 rounds in a row, back to
Yeah.
back. I think the biggest downfall was the fact that not only did Demo have that toward the force, but also the fact that maybe there was a little bit miscommunication about what was available to those attackers. For example, that orbital strike, which was what eventually led to their success, right? So
Yeah.
if we could potentially, maybe communicate a little bit more on the side of Noxious, I think they will definitely benefit greatly. As far as team composition, just looking back, because I did some digging here, Noxious brought out the Chamber, the Rays, the Breach, and the Astra, as well as the Sky. So they went with that double initiator combo, and Chillin. I think Chillin was their substitute, because I don't think Chillin is right here right now. No.
Now we got McLovin.
Exactly. So, okay, now that we have McLovin, that could be a little bit of a change of pace, because Chillin did okay on the Sky. Let's be honest, they were the bottom fragger. So you take away Chillin out of this equation, you could potentially take it with one of the players from Akuma, and hey, there is your Wombo combo. I would be looking out for Shatter's Breach, because Shatter's Breach popped off. 6 first bloods says it all. 6.
Ooh,
Don't peek, homies. Don't
ooh,
peek.
that's a scary number right there. Well, we'll see if he can double that up in this next game. As now, I will be stepping away for just a moment while my best buds get into this agent select for game two between Akuma and Noxus. Y'all take it away.
Bro just called me best bud. My heart is so full. We better hope that our teams are as well and in the right headspace to go into this game. You mentioned it, Shattered, locking in that breach first and foremost. An interesting start, especially because I think that KO is actually quite an okay agent to pick up on this map, and it's kind of the thing that I know Shattered for the most. Demo, though, hovering that Cypher, that makes me a little excited. I'm a big Cypher fan.
Do you want me to break your heart or no?
You don't think that Demo's gonna pick Cypher? You think Demo's gonna switch to Chamber?
Actually, no. Actually, I'm gonna make your heart full, complete.
Oh,
Last
okay.
time they played split, Demo did luck in that cipher. So I wouldn't assume that they would change anything since they did win that game. So
But you
I
don't
think you're
like
gonna get.
Cypher.
I don't. I'm not a Cypher lover, if I'm being honest. I think Cypher had its moment, but just even from the scoreboard, Demo was at the bottom last time they played on this map.
Sentinel. It's a Sentinel and a true Sentinel because I know
mean,
that we can say
yeah.
Sentinel and Chamber or whatever.
Select your
okay?
agent.
That's the problem. Chamber just changed the whole meta, right? I mean, even with KJs, you see KJs pop off, like go off. Team MVP type of vibe here. So to have Cypher, it's kind of like, oh, all right, yeah. I think it's the fact that it's not as cool as. And that's so mean to say. I'm sorry, KJ. I don't personally know you, but I'm bashing on you.
Yeah, now I'm sad that we also don't think that Cypher is very cool. I mean, I get it. To each their own. All right, the team compositions that we are ending up with arrays for both of these squads alongside the breaches, Fade as well. There are some great split lineups for that haunt, so not too surprised there. But we are seeing Demo, who previously was on that chamber, switch it up, go for this Cypher, and something that I personally am very excited about because I think that Cypher is a great asset, has a ton of great lineups. That camera location is mint, as well as just the trips that allow you to gather information across all these nooks and crannies and across this entire site, as we're getting to see Demo track shoes on, just running everywhere while being able to have that camera all the way across on the other side of the map here.
This is a nice spot.
Franks. Across the board, though, we do see
This
the
goes
Astra
here.
picked up as the call instead of something like an Omen or a Brimstone. So interesting, and we'll see if that is going to make a huge difference.
Astra was the go-to controller back in VCT 2022, 21? I don't know, numbers are hard, alright? But basically, before the nerf. Because her pools, her stuns, her smokes were so intricate, and just like that, Web's going to be clearing out those vents, giving them full mid control. Although this A site is way too spicy, if you can even call it that, as Demo. And Rays are holding, Omen here are holding off. Shattered getting really rushed over onto that B Heaven as well. Has to reposition and basically give up this B Heaven. Along with that, the complete rotation from the two members over onto the A side, only leaving the Cypher. Prowler gonna allow to clear this B Heaven nice and clean without any damage being done. A flash though comes on through from Shattered, and honestly, I don't like that. That is a wasted flash. Nobody was able to capitalize that, and with that, they're gonna push onto the site. Web spot first,
Last player
but it's gonna be
standing.
actually Franks
Spike
and
down, B.
Degrees capitalizing onto that push. And once upon a time, it looked nice and bright for Noxious. Now, not so much.
Yeah, the other interesting thing that I feel like I need to point out is that we're seeing kind of a big shakeup as far as team composition and agent pickup for the side of Akuma. Shattered is very used to playing those initiators, but Ahiro was actually the player on Viper previously, and now is the one being taking up this Fade. So kind of doing a little bit of a flex role. On a lot of maps, we are more used to seeing this double initiator strategy, since there are those two very different style of initiators. And as a result, you do kind of need that one player who can do a little bit of a flex on certain maps. Viper is just so important. And it looks like that player for Akuma is Ahira, and certainly somebody that I've been having a lot of fun watching as they flex between roles. Again,
Oh, no.
the shorty comes out on top and allows for Wappa to be able. I got a little bit scared there. Valorant being a little bit of a horror game.
We out here already starting October, nice and early. Spookified confirmed. Yasser also with that headhunter saying, boo, I gotcha. Degrees out of this map now. Man advantage looking nice and bright for the side of Noxious here, as they get to choose. Do they hit the A side? Do they hit the B side? Either way, they're going to meet with just one defender onto the site. It's going to be Fade lurking up very deep onto this A side, but Chamber's not far behind here. A smoke gonna be covering a little bit of the section, giving a little bit of information. Actually, no. He got thrown off there by that smoke. Interesting here.
30 seconds
Easy
left.
2K pickup. Gets stunned by that fault line. So gonna have to just really hold on here. Here's some footsteps. Has light in hand. Connects
standing.
perfectly, but hey, if you blind that close, you're still able to see. So sadly enough, not able to trade off a hero though.
Spike
They're
planted.
keeping the dream alive. Spectre in the backhand. Ghost as well. Reload comes through. 65 health in a dream. Gasser with just one bullet on the headhunter. Although walking a little bit too slow for my liking, actually sees the edge, connects 10 health in a dream. And just like that, Ostino says, don't worry, folks, I got this. Thrifty in the hand.
All right. I mean, honestly, what really started that thrifty round off in a great way was Wappa being able to pick up that kill with a
Right there.
shorty at close range. Something that you love
1
to
second,
see if
peeps.
you're a
I
Raze
gotta visit
player
the Astral to
every
play
single
some
time that it
stars.
happens. And then following it up very nicely, Frank's just not quite able to make that angle at the back of that A site happen. And as you mentioned, yeah, if you're going to be nearsighted, near is the important part of that phrase, and they certainly were a little bit too close for comfort for Franks, who almost timed that perfectly with that dark cover falling.
Already one. Already starting off good too, Becky. Yeah, I like it. There's a little back and forth, a lot of utility being used, a lot of stacking on opposite sides. This time around for the defenders, it's going to be that A site, and they're going to get aggressive pushing forward. I love this trademark. Trademark gonna Yasser, and just like that, the swing comes through. Judge gets one, but that is all as Franks collects the reciprocation here. Prowler used onto
No more
Demo.
charges
Demo
left.
has the camera to get that A-OK that, yes, they are pushing. Only a sheriff, though, makes it very hard to push through that smoke. And really wondering whether that's the right choice here as the rest of the defenders make their way onto site. That deep lurk from the Omen might do or break here, although only a judge in hand, by the way, folks.
It's going to be a rough one, but some of these tight corners could allow for a little bit of jump onto Ostino here as we hear some of those footsteps, and this could be something that we've been waiting for. It allows for that take down very nicely to start off, and towards Evan McLovin is just taking names.
Oh, gets the weapon. Spectre now in the hands of Frank. Trades it off for that judge. A hero.
Last
only a
player
ghost.
standing.
They saved up for the following round. And just like that, it's down to a hero. Can they keep it alive just long enough for the bomb
got
to
to be
dig?
kidding
Taps it once. Looks for the swing. And McLovin fully swings. Gets that easy through K, adding that second point onto Noxious.
Yeah, I like the decision from Ahira there. Knows that there's only a ghost, doesn't have the opportunity to get a better gun, and just says, if somebody peeks and I get a lucky headshot with this ghost, that's going to be all that I am happy with. Knowing that there isn't enough time to go for that defuse, and just trying to make the most out of a kind of crummy situation that is a little bit made better by being able to buy up going into this round. Franks can be the first one to find that ultimate at the ready.
Wow, my eyes are down.
There will be kind of an underwhelming ultimate, but could allow for some nice repositions as well as some fun flanks to come out from this Omen.
I do
Here.
love from the shadows here. Demo pinging away for a friend saying, I heard something here. I don't know what exactly, but something for sure. The haunt come on through onto this A site. Does not connect with anybody. Not quite hitting the mark there. So Boombot going to be used just to secure that is. Ooh, beautiful lineup here.
your
Going over to screens. Does manage to peek on Cypher, but it's not going to actually connect. Nate's being thrown out
Spike
here. It's going to be
down A.
Shatter, the man of the hour, making that a
One
two-hit.
enemy remaining.
Looking for the remaining players, now just being one who is lurking about this mid. Oh, what a perfect little swing onto that rope. Didn't even make a sound. Ostino, not only a ninja, trickster here, but unfortunately that trick is up, his jig is up, he needs to go home, and Ahira makes that the second point.
Match now so far, but this is kind of how we saw it start on Bind as well. But that being said, we did get to see a pretty back and forth game, and Noxious are at a point where they're starting to be able to learn the strategies that Akuma are bringing in, and picking up that second round was a nice little buffer for them as well, moving this full even buy up around to this one, and Yasser being able to completely save up as well because that 4-4 is ready.
You want to play? Let's play.
Demo Demo has the operator. We've seen how crazy he is with the chamber and an operator. Now, though, we're changing a little bit of a role here. As Cypher on it. The Rolling Thunder ready to come out as soon as the voice calls him. We know it's going to be swing at the wrong time. Yasser with the Turtle Force gets one Wappa here with the second. Demo sees the weapon of the chamber. But it's going to be the paint shells who are going to make him reposition and honestly save his life. Degrees unhappy about that situation. Going to push on through, hopefully catch someone. And that's not the case here as the bomb's actually making its way onto the B site. Franks, you said, man, that's not good for one. Good for three. Good for one here. But the trade-off is just too quickly there. And Noxious really making this gap of mana advantage happen here onto this fifth round.
Yeah, and just like that, that information from Franks, normally in situations where it's like a multiple, unfortunately alone in that situation, not playing that buddy system that we know Akuma do so well.
Spike planted.
It all just up to these final two players, Degrees and Demo. And Demo with this operator, we might just see them go for saves into this round 2v4, but it's hard to go for this siege through those Astra smokes when you have something like that operator.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm not too mad if they do happen to save. I mean, you save a rifle, you save an operator, and your buddies, for the most part, they're going to be able to buy. I even think Demo's going to be able to buy a friend as well, and you're only 1 point behind. We have seen Shatter do immense things with just the Sheriff, so you're not too worried if you are Akuma. More so, you're trying to play the long game. You're trying to just wait till those final rounds where it actually matters.
Waiting for that bomb to really tick down. Demo's going to be able to hold on to this operator going further into these rounds and be that player to watch this mid area of the map. And we kind of called it on the desk too. Noxious really favoring that mid side of the map, trying not to let themselves get aggressively peaked on some of these angles and have that be their downfall. But now that Demo does have this operator, if we're not extremely tactical with some of these breach flashes or these Astra clouds, we're going to be in a rough spot if Demo's able to pick up some first bloods.
Shadows traveling.
Rough spot indeed. Unfortunately, Demo holding on to an angle where, yes, there's presence, but Ostino's not one to really swing on to an angle that they are not quite sure where are without any information, especially when being a controller here and just remember that there is a peak, but the miss comes through from Demo, and unfortunately now it's going to be calling the rest of the squad for Noxious. Demo's going to be going up against, was going to be going up against at least 3, but now the bomb rotation is coming through, which, if I'm being honest here, Becky, I am a little bit worried about, especially since they haven't already got a pick, and that Rolling Thunder and Fault Line is ready to go for Shatter.
And you can tell they're Shattered waiting for it. Damage onto Yasser there. Wampa saying, what's up? I've got this big old rocket launcher and in your face, taking out Shattered, and that's a nice pickup. Now a 5v3 situation looking pretty good for Noxious. We're just going to go ahead and say, we've got a lot of room on the map. We're going to use it to our advantage.
I like that. I like that a lot. They caused the rotation 30 seconds. But hey, you can rotate just as quickly. Nightfall coming through for the defenders. They do get pinged. But the bomb hasn't quite made it onto the side. Opening up everything and anything else, you know, also helping out here. And I have to say, Noxious looked pretty dominant on this half, especially being a defender-sided map.
And this is kind of what we expected. This was their map pick. We expected them to pick one of these scrappier maps where some people just aren't very comfortable, and it looks like they have a strategy that is working quite well, and it is taking a lot of control, playing a little bit slow, and just like waiting for key points of utility to end up being used, and then knowing what parts of the map they have advantage over and continuing to use that to their advantage.
I also have to note that that's the first showstopper that has actually hit live on screen.
After we watched the like 13-10 first game where there were 2 races on both sides and that's the only one that's hit.
So hey, that's a dub
I have
in
the
itself
spike.
for Noxious, as well as baiting out so much utility onto mid. They have the weapon advantage, but they're still being very cautious because, as we said before, Akuma's a team that doesn't matter what type of weapon they have in hand. They're able to hit their shots very nice and clean. Ahira here and Degrees looking for this sweep. It's gonna be a trade-off happening over onto that A site. Chambers not gonna be around, but Degrees does not care. Again, those shots are there. The crosshair placement is just immaculate.
Yeah, and a nice relocation to come out after picking that one up. Now it's just gonna do some jump sweeps and try to gather information alongside Ahira. Now, second showstopper to
Spike
hit. We
down,
learned
B.
from that first one the little differences in positioning that we have to make work, and the bomb now down and in between Degrees and Ahira. An unfortunate
30 seconds left.
situation to have ended up here.
Yeah, this is rough. They're splitting off, hoping that maybe they could catch someone off this rotation here. Breach does still have some ability, Rolling Thunder to be specific, getting invested. I'm not
One
a fan of that,
enemy
but
remaining.
it's going to be an attempt here as Degrees just passes
seconds
on that, and McLovin gets one, but has to work onto a 1v3. The time is ticking. There's not really a lot he can do. He's got to go for the kills or get out, and it's going to be a go for the kills at
Thrifty.
this point. McLovin has no other choice, but hey, look at that. Gets rewarded with the Sheriff. And I'm just going to back it up, but oh, Franks is chasing, and there's not enough time. So, hey, a weapon to be saved is okay, I guess.
Yeah, unfortunately, you wish you could have done a little bit more damage considering the strong economy off of picking up that round from Akuma. We're looking at an even score all across the board. Degrees thinking about that operator, but ultimately, I need to go back down onto that Phantom to be able to buy up full shields as well going into this one, as we have that Rolling Thunder as well as the Neural Theft ready to go. But with side of Noxious, they do also have that Cosmic Divide, and they could use it to block off a lot of the map.
Bring them down.
They're blind with fear. Either one of these sites, but based on how they've been playing, I don't think that's going to be the case. And instead, the Rolling Thunder is the first thing to come out. That just doesn't matter if you get the headshot there. Ahira falls.
Ahira good for 2 before he gets caught up by Yasser. It's going to be a 3-on-3. Like you said, that Cosmic Divide is still in the back pocket of Ostino. None left. Actually, just one. The Neural Theft is still available. But not. Win from Demo, good for
Spike
one.
down, mid.
Oh, there was a
Last
dink,
player
but
standing.
McLovin knee through the smoke. Gets that, and now it's just down to Franks, who's left onto this B site. They must know a smoke came by, but I don't really think they know exactly where he is. They're gonna have to be careful, especially since Chamber is very low on health and an operator chest in hand.
30
so
seconds
making their way
left.
over onto the safe side, it's gonna be a lot safer.
And it looks like Frank's just going to do the safe decision of waiting until the audio cues come out. We know that that bomb is planted and go for the 1v2 with less time, but a little
Spike
more
planted.
safety and knowledge. The moment that that spike gets planted, we see this in movement. It's going to be a rough situation, but if the spread is this far apart, Frank's could potentially, with full utility, just be able to find the shots. Make it all happen here. You got to be careful. Corners and not quite in the exact corner allows McLovin to have a better stance in that situation. Gets Noxious yet another round. They're able to continue to hold on to this lead very nicely, just moving to this map. We're getting to see a lot of good stuff coming out from them. Mostly the use of utility in the face of the ultimates that are being thrown back at them. We saw Shattered really deploy that Rolling Thunder on that last round, and the great use of smokes to just block off enough vision, the blinds to come out as well, and keep as much pushing onto the members of Noxious at bay as possible.
Yeah, they're also
You are divided!
I feel like chat's
Find
gonna be
you.
like, yo, Q-Tube, do you ever talk about anything else? But the fact that they're constantly changing the pace of the rhythm, right? Last was a mid-aggressive push. Now they're over onto this A site really fast, moving on. They use that Cosmic Divide. Now they're gonna really have to hold post-plant. The one thing I am worried about is how they
Spike
decide
planted.
to hold this. It's gonna be a hero with find you. First going in. I believe Yasser's gonna be the one located. But hey, Fade is around the corner. Gets caught out by the Degrees teleports back to the wrong location. Excuse me, Yasser gets caught out by Degrees there because of that teleportation. Now, once upon a time, they had a 5-man advantage. It's just 2 down. Degrees with the showstopper was successful once. This time,
enemy
not
remaining.
so much, but Europe is just built different. I don't know what code is in there, but they are every single shot, and Jaewoo could not hold any longer.
Shut up and let me.
And that bomb disease ended up going to Shattered. Get a little bit closer to their Rolling Thunder. Such a good ultimate to have at the ready. Something that should be instrumental at keeping the attacking side of Noxious at bay. You said it yourself, they are doing a great job of changing it up. They played really slowly and then have a few rounds where they just play with this kind of precise rush. Unfortunately, they weren't able to set up exactly the best post plant in that situation, and I think they maybe just weren't prepared for how aggressively we actually saw Akuma push out through that cosmic divide. The moment that haunt came out from Ahira,
You want to play? Let's play.
Shatter just jumping into action to follow it up, and they just were not expecting somebody to push through that quickly. I think that that's something that Akuma really needs to take note of and continue to use is Noxious just maybe aren't anticipating the aggression that they have.
Yeah, talking about the aggression, I think it's going to be Noxious here. Doing the aggressing onto the mid, that camera does miss a little bit of the raise there, so they know exactly where the cam is. The recon 3 happens for Demo. They don't know that Demo has an operator, so this is very scary. Not for an op, it's actually Demo coming out on top. The nerve theft is still in hand if they decide to pop it just to figure out where the rest
Face your fear!
But it's going to be the knife bomb that's going to give away the position. Degrees has been feeling himself, satchelating through the front line here. Flash comes through, does not connect, but it does not matter. As Dino manages to get the kill, they have the man advantage, and one more fall. But it's going to be Franks on the back line doing a little bit of damage. 2v2. It's going to
30
be
seconds
Astro
left.
very low on health, so
Spike
they're
planted.
down for Jaewoo. Oh, the propeller missed. They go. The haunt comes through. Oh, I
One
has a
enemy
very
remaining.
big
Last player
but
standing.
no, this is bad. I don't know. What could this be? Oh, Athena was still looking up. Oh my gosh. Shatter just does it right. 23 health and a dream with a perfect right click gets this match to an even 5-5.
Shattered the absolute mad lad
30
with
seconds
the
left.
falling right
planted.
click on the classic. More than enough to finish that Astra off. Whew. I mean, yeah, you can tell that like Demo got that
player
initial kill and was
standing.
like, oh, I know somebody's there, but I want to go for this neural theft. Ended up falling to Wappa for maybe being a little bit too aggressive, but a wonderful cleanup at the end there coming from Shattered to even this game up to a 5-5, and this really could be anyone's game, but it is a little bit scary that we've been saying Noxious is doing a pretty good job, all things considered. They've been able to get quite a few rounds, but ultimately they've still got a long way ahead, especially since they're down a game.
They are definitely doing a lot better than we had expected, especially since you lose the first round, your mental gets a little low. But no, they haven't shown a glimpse of defeat in their eyes. They're still doing aggression. They were able to get that first pick off of the fade onto this B side, so that still leaves them with a man advantage, and especially as Yasser is pushing deeply onto this mid. The Rolling Thunder, though, is going to create so much work. A flash comes through. They're both flashed, but Shatter is still able to connect the two. Now you see Jaewoo swinging good for one,
Spike
but
down,
hey,
B.
you said it. Akuma has the perfect buddy system. They're able to trade off so perfectly with one another, and now Noxious is left in the biggest pickle of them all. They don't have the bomb. The bomb's in the hands of Akuma, and they have to go and retrieve it.
I mean, speaking of buddy system, Frank's using
30 seconds left.
everyone from the side of Noxious being concussed to use that time to actually from the shadows in, using that deafen as well as concussed to use an ultimate that sometimes is regarded as not the most useful because the audio cues that it gives away.
One
Now
enemy
you have a
remaining.
bunch of ability to try
10
and
seconds
keep
left.
them in, not
One
play
enemy
that way.
remaining.
Maybe getting a little bit too aggressive there, Degrees. The only way you lose this round. Oh, Demo, please tell me you're actually here. Okay, yeah, only a minute left, or a second left. not gonna be able to finish it off. Demo comes back, swaps off of that knife, stop giving me a heart attack, and finishes it up to get themselves the 6th round. And will they go in with an advantage, or will we see Noxious actually be able to bring it back to get themselves a 6-6 half? It doesn't look like we're gonna be able to afford full armors for the whole squad. In fact, a lot of people looking a little bit light here. But overall, should still be able to pack a punch. Especially they have that Cosmic Divide ready again, and they might just try to do that same strategy and try it one more time.
Camera that's a
what a good
beautiful
lineup.
Camera, yeah!
Watch it, find it!
Degrees, talk about lineup, he's got the perfect crossfit placement. Molly's being thrown out, it's gonna have to reposition. Definitely gonna do some damage to the Cosmic Divide Vets, and that's it. Demo is just around the corner, waiting for someone to peek. Rolling Thunder as well, the full swing through. Unfortunately, he's only rewarded with one shatter. It's done onto the side, so Ostino's gonna get the really easy trade here, and the bomb's gonna get planted with Jay very low on health.
Spike planted.
Comes through. I think we'll top line.
Last player standing.
Ostino good for the trade now down to Ahira. It's looking like that possible 6-6 line is gonna make its way into fruition here. Unless
where one is. That Prowler is Ahira, followed by yet another one who's trying to get those shots. Runs out of bullets though.
One enemy remaining.
no way, there's no way. McLovin back now. Ring around the rosies, the right click hits. Oh, they're both so low. The bomb's ticking, has to go for the kill. There's no way he gets it, and no, just like that. 6-6 at the half here, Becky.
All right, all things considered, Noxious having themselves an even half and moving on to the defensive side of a widely regarded defensive-sided map has got to feel pretty okay here. But that being said, we talk about it time and time again. Aggression is Akuma's middle name and something that they're very known for, and this is a map that can reward you for having very aggressive plays. We see a lot of them kind of posted up towards moving and pushing on to this A site. And if they're able to just get a nice, quick distraction. I mean, they might be going for another play that we also see them do a lot, which is pretend that they're being really aggressive and then making a very quick rotation once they think that they've gotten a rotation out of the defensive side.
Although we have to point out that on Vine, it kind of backfired on them a little bit. I want to say that the use of the Aster for the side Noxious might be a little bit more favorable, but as I say that, it's actually not. Akuma clearing out this A heaven and making their way across town, but Shatter is a little bit lagging behind and had someone peek that could have been destroyed, but that will not be the case. Trademark right away giving the alert, but not before Franks is able to get that first blood onto Webspa here, onto that B main, and just like that, the side is in their favor. McLovin gets one, but unable to trade that second. And now it's just down left to just two members of Noxious trying to get back into sight. The camera being used to watch Heaven, or actually Ellie. And
last player standing.
Swings on through
On the rope!
perfectly. Demo just cracked out of his mind. Camera tracking the way of Jay Wu here. And the rest of the gang just stepping on through. Oh, he gets two! Oh, unfortunate though. The reload comes at a most inconsiderate time.
This is one of those moments where I wish that we could like draw on the minimap and I could do a little like illustration of exactly how they went through that time that route on that round, excuse me. Sorry, trying to figure out how to pause the game too. One of the players has to take a little bit of a tech pause, so I'm also looking through my menu at the same time that I'm trying to talk. But the way that we did see that aggression coming out towards A, that push up through ramp into Heaven, and we're actually seeing the pings from the defensive side coming out on the map as well, saying, well, they like came up here. We thought they were trying to be really aggressive onto A, try to push there. We did see those rotations come out as well from the defensive side. And just at that same time, Demo kind of did this lurking Cypher play, caught them out on that rotation, found a pretty easy kill, and then they actually just went and did this whole like swerve and just like went down through ropes, went in through mid, and just like they're pinging it as well. They just went do 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 do. I do believe that some of these pings are also pointing out some utility locations from that chamber on the defensive side as well, and maybe potentially hoping that those are going to be similar locations going into future rounds so that they can anticipate them a little bit better.
Yeah, I'm a little bit confused by the Astra, if I'm being honest. There was utility being set down there. The purpose of Astra and why Astra is so instrumental is you can smoke right off the bat, you can pull, you can stun, allowing for the play of utility, especially since you have a breach on your side. You could have used that fault line, you could have used so much utility to really help onto that push. I think that was a little bit of a miscommunication from Noxious. Yes, the double satcheling from Degree threw them a little bit off, but you could still use that utility for the rest of the attacking team to at least hold them and keep them apart. I think that it just shows that Noxious is a little bit nervous about their defensive side of half, and they're feeling a little bit intimidated. So I would like to see them switch that up in this following round, potentially even take those really aggressive peaks to get as much information rather than just give up the site completely.
Yo, what are Killjoy's shoes doing here? Killjoy, do you play with no shoes on? That
I
seems
mean, I do.
I guess I do too, but I don't know why. I think I can say this on this channel, but I feel like Killjoy probably has some really stinky feet.
What?
And Killjoy also is a Heimerdinger player. Which I don't know if anyone else who plays a League of Legends can go ahead and say what they want about that. If Gurf was here, Gurf would be really excited. I personally would be very upset to see my opponents lock in a Heimerdinger. Because the only one not playing Valorant is Killjoy. Playing Shoeless, playing Heimerdinger, and League of Legends when everyone else is playing Valorant. Come on, Killjoy, get it together. We are having a little bit of a disconnect here from Wappa, trying to get back into this game. Some tech issues, but it looks like our players are ready, so we can stop talking about Killjoy's smelly feet and start talking about this game again.
If I was Killjoy, I'd be offended. You know who else? I'm not even gonna talk about it. I'm gonna move on from that subject.
You don't want to keep
what I'm gonna talk.
What agents have stinky feet?
Yeah, I was gonna say Raze would probably have stinky
Oh,
feet
she
too.
definitely does.
Yeah, she looks like she'd be super sweaty in rank mode. I think I would. Yeah, I could relate the most to Raze for sure. Anyways, what I could relate to is the fact that Demo just got that first blood over onto. Demo got that first blood over onto that A site here, looking for this second as Ostino holds this angle. Unfortunately, that didn't do the job it was supposed to, and just like that, easy 2K on the hands of Demo, as the 8 site is completely free for these attackers.
I can't miss.
Oh no! Something about an Omen getting headshot and the animation that happens afterwards is just so funny to me. Omen always looks so caught off guard and like, oh shucks.
One enemy remaining.
Oh, Demo catching McLovin also off guard.
What?
I don't know that Shucks went through.
So much for their elite agent.
Yeah, the Shucks definitely did not go through. Okay, I'm gonna go back to it too. I mean, that was just a Spectres beat all the shorties that apparently Noxious bought. That's my analysis. You're welcome. Fantastic. I think the better question actually is which characters in Valorant don't have stinky feet. Because the more that I'm thinking about it, I think that there's probably only like 2 or 3 who don't have stinky feet.
This goes here.
I don't think Jet has stinky feet, only because some of her comments.
She doesn't have to walk as much.
Well, that too, yeah. Maybe Astra as well then, in that case, since she's always levitating.
I
Yeah.
think Astra definitely.
Oh,
But other
so
than
much
that, I
detail.
think everyone else definitely does.
Give up.
That Astra a lot of work because of not having stinky feet, but 2 for 2 trades off the board, trying to keep
Spike
everyone
planted.
in this bomb gets planted on Hero. Better get that backup from Demo ASAP.
Bring
Otherwise,
them down.
this lurking Cypher better show up and pay in dividends.
Oh man. I want to say that was a perfect pull from Ostino there, looking for this 3K.
Last player
here
standing.
as Demo, though, unfortunately catches McLovin off guard. So there is going to be some confirmation once happens, but the rest of the players are on site, and unfortunately, Ostino gets caught looking the wrong way at the wrong time. And just like that, it's going to be Akuma looking to bring us into that 10th double-digit scoreline.
That's so hard because I know that, like, I don't even care who you are. We've all been Ostino at one point. You know that an ally just died in heaven, and you're like, oh, somebody's up there. Is Demo gonna peek me? I'm looking up there for a second, seeing if it happens, and if it doesn't happen, I'm gonna look back to where I think the other person is, and then you get caught midway. We've all been there. If you say that you've never been caught doing that, you're absolutely lying to me, and it wouldn't be the first time. Chat lies to me all the time.
Camera taken
But I
out.
understand. Now Demo set up some tripwires to make sure that this flank is able to be watched and continues to just play this lurking a Cypher game. And I have to wonder if the reason they're going for this Cypher instead of something like that Chamber is just that you're able to be a little bit more ratty and also gather a little bit more information on something like the Cypher compared to the Chamber. And now it's going to be something that I'm watching time and time again. Wappa being a little bit too aggressive there, pushing a little bit too
Teleport's
far
ready.
forward and just getting whopped for it.
I love that. Also, that name just makes me hungry. I want a burger now. Thank you very much. Although I have perfectly nice Pokeball in my fridge. Anyways, the aggression really deep onto that mid, and I couldn't agree with you. Now the chamber, I mean the Cypher allows you to lurk about, but when you're aggressive as the Aster, you're also able to get an easy 2K. And hey, you just found the bomb! So you don't have to do a thing. You have to wait till these attackers come your way. And I hear, hey, there's another angle, my friend, and you are not looking that way. Page Trail's getting spotted. Yasser says, give me that 3K just like that.
Cage
Easy
triggered.
peasy butter. Yasser's not done yet, folks. But Demo through the cage gets that. The Nebula does not pull. And it's going to be a pick off of Ostino.
10
Just
seconds
a perfect camera placement. 9 seconds left.
have
It's a
retrieved the spike.
2v1. Grabs the spike, has to commit onto that A site, and it's going to be the last two remaining defenders. McLovin
Thrifty.
waiting patiently. Time has run out of the for these defenders, and the kill also to add on to that KDA.
So there was a little bit of an interesting movement from Akira in that round, and you have to wonder if there was a little bit of a disconnect or something in that situation, but looks like we're all fine now and hopefully going to be ready to have a little bit more of a commanding position in that game. Maybe they were expecting a little bit more aggression from the saving side of Noxious that just didn't end up playing out how they originally anticipated, and kind of it's interesting to watch Akuma get a little bit bitten and thriftied by the slow play that they had.
Yeah, not something that they do very often, right? But now that they do, it's kind of like, oh, this is why you don't do that. And that is something that Noxious could take to their advantage, is they can slow down their push back. It's going to be the satchel, not quite coming through there for Raze here, so they're just kind of stuck in this mail room. The Night connects with just the Astra. Actually, that was a breach. Yasser holding down this A site like a champ.
Cage
The trademark gonna allow him to know that there's someone right behind his back, and unfortunately, he swings onto 3. Demo is gonna know there's someone there as well. Swings on through, but McLovin with the crouch. Everyone hates the crowd. We all know it, but unfortunately, it works, folks. That's why we have the crowd here. Franks with From the Shadows repositioning over, cancels it out, but is stunned by that rolling thunder, so has to be careful about how he goes onto this supply. He's watching Heaven. Ostino swings through. McLovin
Last
makes
player
the
standing.
clear. Oh, Akira, why you peeking degrees down to the left? Aftershock also invested. Yo, Utility's just going haywire here as the rest of the gang is shooting through. The defense comes through before, the defuse comes through before he gets the kill, but hey, at least he got the kill and he gets to keep an operator.
Yeah, not too bad, but certainly feels a little bit bad to have had that advantage for the side of Akuma and then lose 2 rounds in a row to just kind of slow play that's getting really capitalized on by Noxious here. And if you're Noxious, you've got to be feeling pretty thankful that something is happening that you're able to take advantage of, and they're just doing a great job of kind of commanding this slower tempo of play that Akuma are trying to do.
I like it. I like it a lot coming out from Noxious here. They are learning. We talked about it before. They had a little bit of a struggle on buying, readjusting to their defensive side they have. But right now they're doing it beautifully. They are using that killing like you commended them for before. Yasser though, not quite what he wanted. He wanted to get that first blood. Actually, that first blood count. It's actually going to be the Prowler from Akira narrowing out to the Webspa on that B main, getting a little cheeky and being able to pick up that 2K. And finally, Yasser's operator is working the right way. It gets the kill. It connects with the shot. Akira with trust. Unable to do much as there is a star there pulling them through. And just like that, so easy peasy. A flawless coming out there, I think. Or did I just make that up? I'm not quite sure. But it just looks so clean that it was a flawless in my brain, folks. Don't worry.
And normally we see these timeouts coming out from the coach of Pumpkin for Akuma, but this time it's actually coming out from Degrees here. So you know something's got to be going a little bit rough if one of the players is saying, hold up, normally, coach, I let you do this, but I got to take a moment, talk to my team here, sit them down, and give across some information here. And I think that a lot of that has got to be just their struggle in these last few rounds. They're going to be on a pretty heavy save going into this one. It is a little bit rough when the team composition for Akuma has none of those kind of credit saving agents. We don't see anything like the Chamber or the Jet, so we don't ever have that to rely on. So pretty much everyone is going to be forced onto this save, buying up sheriffs or otherwise, and just trying to make things happen with those lower gun buys. And I think a lot of this timeout has to just be discussing, okay, if we're going to win this Thrifty, how are we going to do it? What's going to be our game plan? And then after the Thrifty, what are we doing? Are we going to try and continue to do this slower play? Are we going to try and be really aggressive again? And I understand being a little bit scared of being aggressive on this map because it is kind of very defensive sided and it does have a lot of choke points for attackers. And so trying to avoid those poor situations as much as possible makes a lot of sense. But when you have something like that Fade and that Breach, you have a lot of utility that can help you take advantage of those situations and not get caught in those choke points.
Yeah, something that I am also noticing is Akuma, even though they do get that no control, they're failing at getting that initial first blood, and a lot of the utility being used, just like we see now, by Noxious is holding them back. That showstopper once again connecting. We're happy King Shells as well. Look at how low Franks is. Has to make the greatest escape of them all, especially because he also has the bomb. So you don't want to get a little bit too crazy with that. And a Prowler invested for the side of Noxious unfortunately does not connect with anyone, but you know that they are mid. And like I said, they're not able to get that first blood. They're constantly getting knocked down, getting pushed back, and they're having to really try to find another loophole in another site. And Yasser's just doing so phenomenal with the operator, holding them off that A site. And we have to give also kudos over to Wappa, who's just been getting 2K, 3K.
30 seconds left.
Just like I said, at Yasser there holding down the A side, not giving an ounce away here. Frank's very low on health, has to check the corner here. Teleports onto the site. There's not going to be a spray through from Ostino, and that's a smart call because as you can see, there is the Astra just around the corner.
10 seconds left. Last player
does not
standing.
connect with Ostino, and the out of the planet does go through, but not long before Jewel just makes his way onto the side and cleans it up, therefore giving once again the lead and the double digits to Noxious.
Yeah, we've been able to see Noxious have the leads over the course of this game, and I've only really been able to pull ahead a few times in this flawless round is kind of the echo of that save that we were seeing from the side of Akuma, but based on the amount of thrifties we've been able to see from Noxious as well, it's kind of crazy to see how this game is starting to shake up, and it is kind of pushing forward this idea that yeah, at the end of the day, maybe this is just so defensively sided, but I feel like we are seeing a different strategy than what we were seeing from Akuma at the start of this half. We were previously seeing them be really aggressive, and all of a sudden we're seeing them be pretty passive, pretty slow, and that could be as a result of being scared of that operator. But once again, you have that Omen. You've just got to be using some of that Fade utility, trying to see exactly where that operator can potentially be, and then just working on smoking it out as much as possible and finding that operator. Unfortunate to find it, hit the C's, and then all of a sudden, in a moment, that chamber just gets to rendezvous away. I think if you get hit by the C's, you shouldn't be. What? Whoa, Demo, welcome to the game.
Well, Demo definitely waking up for the side of Akuma there, gets that 2K and is able to pick up the operator, which could be the momentum shift here for Akuma. It's going to be a blind coming through, but the swing is from 3 folks of Akuma. Now the bomb's going to get planted onto that A side with full control of Akuma. Even a lurker around the mid section here.
One enemy remaining.
Connect to Webspa. They still have to worry about the operator being over onto Hit Ramson. McLoveny is the last person for the defenders here. Maybe, thinking about maybe I should save here. Oh my goodness, Grace, you're crazy!
And Grease is like, it's a 5v1 situation. I'm pushing the smoke. I don't care. And I mean, hey, that aggressive play paying off 10 to 10 now in this game. Akuma evening up the score once again and finding themselves a win after kind of stumbling on their feet. Ultimates are ready to go into this round are that showstopper as well as that Rolling Thunder, and that can pack a huge punch for an aggressive push, but on the other side, we do see Tour de Force not actually going to be utilized here as Yasser has that operator, but Oxino could try and keep things at bay a little bit with that Cosmic Fire.
Bring them down. Yeah, I mean, you're still scared about Demo with the operator. I'm sorry, Yasser with the operator. Unfortunately, it's going to be for Fade using a Hunt and not actually getting a lot of value out of it. Yasser going to be making his way up mid as he knows that there's someone who peeks at the perfect time. His timing could not be any better there. Man, disadvantage. A lot of utility being used for the side of the attacker. Showstopper gets stopped by the Haunt. I think that got stunned by the Prowler. I don't know. Somehow was blinded there. So unable to really connect ones. Weps was still alive. Manages to connect once more. Yasser from the heavens doing Yasser things. And just like that, you had the lead once, you get it back again if you are Noxious, and they are looking like they want to end this map with the dub.
I mean, and they're certainly looking like it might be a possibility for them. And I mean, this was kind of one of the maps where we did expect for that to be the case. This was their pick. We expected them to play scrappy. And hey, you saw the end of that last round. That is clearly something that is working out for them. And beautifully so, just really coming in, packing up punches. Yasser can get the early picks. Ahira falling once again. This time, a little less catching the opponent's gaze before falling there.
Oh man, if you are Akuma, you are cursing Yasser
No more charges
at every chance you get. Every single time Yasser aims, he kills, and it's just become a really tedious thing here for Akuma. They have to worry about it. I love though that Noxious has decided we're gonna give up the site completely. We're gonna use our Cosmic Divide to get off the site. Prowler's gonna get rid of any util that's gonna be holding us back to an elbow. So this Paint Shell is gonna be holding them back a tad longer. Frontline also gets expended as well, but not before they can be spotted a tad. A flash comes through. Frank speaks through, shattered as well, peeking at the perfect time. Frank's having to hold on to the side. One enemy remaining. Shattered, keeping the trick alive. It's now a bomb. 133 health in a dream. The bomb is ticking. Is there enough time? I don't think so. This is going to be a point for Akuma.
Oh, and this might be a match that we end up going right into overtime with the back and forth between these two teams, and we're at that 11-11 scoreline. As a kid, I got told to make a wish if I stayed up that late. Now it is your time. We are in the evening here on Victoris. Make a wish. Which of these teams do you want to bring home the finals? I mean, Akuma has been looking so strong. If they lose this map, it would be their first map to lose in the entire split. That's insane.
Insane. Insane that they keep going on to the safe side, hoping that it's a Yasser with no operator. The fault line connects, but it's going to be the full operator for Jay-Woo. Oh, Jay-Woo
Spike
just
down
attacking
A.
him out, but it's Frank pushing on through, making sure that no one gets traded off here. 3v3 as a couple of executes go down onto the side. Yasser still with
Spike
the
planted.
operator in hand. They're gonna have to play the close angles if they don't want to get peeked out. This Cypher camera might be coming through. Oh, unfortunately for Raze, there is. Oh wait. Okay. Oh, yeah. I have questions as well. But anyways, Demo's
It was
still
a
alive.
valiant effort. It was a valiant effort. I think the vision.
One enemy
Yasser,
remaining.
no fear. Oh, but the time is ticking. They need to go. They need to go now.
That's on the
One enemy remaining.
fantastic producer. I would like for that to be the call.
No one
Unfortunately, I don't
else
think
could
that
do
Yasser has
this?
time, and even if there was time, Franks is making the rounds, getting the clutches, and getting the 3K. The shrouded step to be able to move to safety, the air horn to finish it all off, and we'll see if Akuma can finish it all off here, get themselves this last round, and close it out. Shut
One
down
enemy remaining.
map pick from the Noxious squad.
One enemy remaining.
My brain is all jumble-wumbled, but one
one
thing that I
else could do this?
definitely know is the fact that they do not want Yasser to have an operator. They don't even mess with the operator. They just let it be, hold it out, and I get it here. The Rolling Thunder, though, can aggress onto the B side. Westfoot onto Heaven, doesn't get the backup from his teammate up until... Wait, Westfoot's still alive? Hello? How? What? I thought he died.
Face your fear! Spike planted.
Excuse me, Wetza has a hope, has a dream, keeping the dream alive for his team. Now, though, does get the man advantage over onto Noxious, who have to retake the site. They have to travel through that tripwire. They get the entrance
Last
into
player
Heaven.
standing.
Yasser with the towards the fours is able to connect Jay-Woo as well.
One
But
enemy
Demo's
remaining.
still alive, and he has been a demon. I think that's but it's gonna be
Attackers
Demo
win.
clutching it out.
always play high stakes.
13-11.
My
Oh
truth stay
my
hidden for one day
Lanta.
All of them just like, no. The hands on the head, the universals.
Ready. I was so ready for Noxious to bring us into overtime there. And especially the moment that it got to be into like a 2v4 situation or a 1v4 situation, I was like, Noxious have got this. We're going into overtime. I went from sitting like with my leg up to like sitting like this.
The
ready
leg
to
has
go.
come down.
And
We're
then every
crouching
time-
just in fear.
And then every time Demo got a kill, I got closer and closer to my monitor in that final round until all of a sudden Demo, those final 4 kills, clutching it, making sure that they don't go into overtime. Akuma are saying, you know what, you're right. It is a marathon and not a race. And we don't want this to go too long. Demo clutches that one up, finishes it, and actually ends with the highest combat score for the team. But it is actually 2 Noxious players who had the highest combat score in that game from Yasser and Wappa. Unfortunately, they just weren't able to get the win. And when combat scores look this way, again, I just gotta say, utility is the name of the game. And we keep seeing these edgings back and forth of which team is just making it all come together with that utility usage. And at the end of the day, just every once in a while, Akuma makes you think that you got to pay attention to their utility, and then Demo comes out and is just like, here's a 4K, and also the game's over.
And also the game is over. Yeah.
Don't
Just absolute heartbreak. You know, it really was looking at that point where Noxious did have that lead and like, oh wow, this is their pick. This is what they wanted to do. And it was working so well for them. But the comeback potential that is the man degrees and just literally insane gameplay all the way up to the very end. Once again, like, yes, Noxious lost once again, but it was also down to the wire once again. So it's just one more map. This is series point for Akuma. Can Noxious get it together? just we'll have to see. And honestly, guys, it's just whew, that one. I'm gonna need like I feel like I need a cold shower to cool off after that one because it got real hot there. But
Ah,
we're gonna take a slight intermission, and we will be back for this all important game three here in this grand final series between Akuma and Noxious. Be back in a second.
Spike planted. Last player standing.
Caught one. Where is everyone hiding?
One enemy remaining.
So it all comes down to this.
You say that like
Uh,
Noxious couldn't potentially take this one.
So it all comes down to this.
It all
Oh
comes down
man,
to
Crow said
this.
it. Crow said it, not me, Noxious.
it's
I
it's
still, I
Facts.
still think
I
you're gonna
believe.
3-1. That means that this one could still go in Noxious's favor.
Yeah.
that's fair. We did, and Cute Noob also did predict the reverse sweep, so that could potentially happen. I think I will literally cry if it does. But we are here
Why
on map
not?
number 3, and it is Ascent. It is the Akuma pick once again. And it is a map that they have very much been dominant on, to say the
Mm-hmm.
least. So if we want that reverse sweep to happen, it's gonna be quite the mountain for Noxious to climb to get there.
What's bigger than a mountain?
A
Ace.
continent,
And
trajectory wise, I guess the atmosphere.
all right, so it's gonna be an atmosphere for them to climb. Because last time they played them, they got 13 and 4, which isn't even double digits. And I
Yeah,
Okay.
mean, I,
Well,
I mean, I'm
like,
hopeful here. I'm sorry, Dad. Becky about to roast me real quick. Listen, I'm hopeful, but I'm just saying it's like it's a lot to ask for here.
it is a lot to ask for. And I am like in a mood where I agree with you. Before we went to the break, I was like, Ascent is literally a map that Akuma has been so dominant on. If there was a map that if I was Noxious, I would have just banned because I don't want to even mess with Akuma on this map, it would have been Ascent. They
yeah,
didn't do that, but we have
yeah,
Ascent now. But like
yeah.
even though Noxious ended the previous time on this map against them at a 13-4, we are already seeing a completely different Noxious than we were seeing during the group stages. They have already grown so much, and they are already throwing out 2 very close matches against Akuma. So maybe since it was a map that they have exactly played on, they've had time to really dissect it compared to some of those other maps, and we could be seeing a little bit of an actual close from Noxious in this game.
Absolutely. And well, the boys are ready, the gals are ready,
Ooh.
the producers ready. Let's get into this game 3. I'll be stepping away once again behind the curtain as my casters do their thing. Time for some agent select.
Hey, that transition didn't go as planned. What happened, producer? You just do us like that? Oh wow. You know
You're
you can
doing
never
great,
rely on
Mr.
them.
Fantastic.
No, don't be nice to him when
You
he's doing us
chose
wrong here.
violence.
What is this? I'm choosing violence because things aren't going according to plan here. I need
Yeah, you're
Noxious to get it down together here.
and we'll see if they're going to be able to. We might be seeing a very similar team composition to what we saw on that last map, but a big change upcoming here. McLovin is going for that KO, and if we are going to see the very typical Akuma setup here, we will be seeing Degrees, yep, on that jet, as well as Demo likely going for that chamber. Ahira has been absolutely instrumental on that Sova. Oh,
Ooh,
Demo,
what are we?
okay.
Oh,
I'm oohing the Killjoy. I guess we have seen
yeah.
Demo play a lot of these different Sentinels time and time again. I'm like doing this as like my thinking motion right now. Excuse me. And I'm just interested in seeing if this Killjoy gets to really do a whole lot. A lot of lockdown can be had between that Killjoy and that Sova. So very I'm in anticipation. Yasser, though, is
Choose
going to
your
be the one to
agent.
actually keep with that tried and true chamber here. And an interesting array here, but excited. Shattered is a demon on the KO, and haven't been able to see it on these first 2 games, but getting to see it now.
Yeah, I like both the KOs on both sides, if I'm being honest, because the KO on the side of Noxious is going to be able to lock down a lot of KG utility once they get into attack, even on the entrance, even on the flank. If you can really get that flashpoint onto the KJ, then the utility is essentially useless. And even the blade store, anything from this attacking side to have with that KO. Also for the side of Akuma, using that flashpoint onto the Astra, because Astra's gonna be that one character that's gonna really attempt to hold them off. Yes, you have the smokes as well from My brain's farting. Jet. And you also have the shock bolts to hold them back. But essentially, the most reliable source to hold them back is going to be your Astra. And that timing has to be immaculate. We've seen how... I believe it's Ostino playing the Astra. Kind of faltered a little bit onto that split at the beginning because it was a little bit harder to get used to that as they got onto the defending side of half. So if Ostino had gotten used to it, now back getting into the swing of Astra, I do suppose that it's going to be useful for them to hold them off onto the side. But with that being said, it is going to be this A-side hit. The KO flashpoint has already gone through tree, and KO has been spotted, so this mid push is looking like the desired site here.
Placing alarm bot. Recalling my bot.
A lot here, and it looks like Victoris just taking some shots with that ghost, pushing back, and we kind of see this time and time again from Akuma, but first to draw blood, Yasser had actually the most first bloods on that last game that we watched too. I think so certainly a first blood demon, and looking to do so again. These headhunter bullets running out with just a rendezvous.
Oh my goodness, somebody
Spike
could get
down
Yasser.
A.
His shots are just hitting
One
him.
enemy remaining.
He's still alive, but it's gonna be Demo
Yasser,
shutting
eh?
him down.
Oh, Demo going for the spray. To help us out here.
One enemy remaining.
All over.
Nice headshot
Placing
on
alarm bot.
Jehu, though. Unfortunately, Wappa, where are the shots going, Wappa?
This is bad. This is
30
bad
seconds
for
left.
Demo. Or actually Wappa, because Wappa's so very low on health. That turret does so much damage. We all know Chicken is OP. And thankfully, though, there's been a switch of plans here for Demo. Actually, no, there has not. It's been the bait and switch for Demo. Demo clutched
10
out the
seconds
last
left.
round for Akuma and looking to do it again here on the first point of
Spikes
the
down.
third map. It's a 2-0 for Akuma, looking to secure their dub at an easy 3-0. And so far right now, it's looking like a success.
Out of charges.
Chicken to relocate as well. Gonna use it as a little bit of a, I was gonna say meat shield, but I suppose it's not made out of, even though we call it a chicken. Sees that
I had to
elbow,
focus for a second.
able to clutch it up. You saw that screen at the end of the last game, and you're seeing it on the first round of this game. Clutch coming out from Demo to start it all off on this. Killjoy was on the Cypher,
Down
last
here.
one was on the Chamber in the first game. Just showing us a whole slew
Alarm
of
bot
agents
out.
and mastery on every single one.
Listen, Becky, if this is a demo of Demo, I'm scared to know what the real thing of Demo is. Just gonna say. The full
Placing swarm grenade.
sold version of Demo. It sounds terrifying.
You want to hear the whole album?
Yeah, exactly. Give me the whole thing. Drop the album.
Demo, let us know what your full album would look like. What's the album cover? We gotta know. Yasser, though, letting us know that First Blood is always going to come from this chamber. Finding yet another early kill, and Demo thinking about trying to go for vengeance here. Might instead just go right into WAP. The shorty, unfortunately, that crouch does mean that this crosshair in place to hit that headshot.
Agrees.
Blocking sight.
One shot per shot here. Astra is lurking about. Ostino, the 40. Something about, oh my goodness, the 40 on the hands of Noxious just hits differently. It's going to be a 3v3 this time around. Noxious looking a little bit more healthier than last time they were met with this round. The lurk from KK is going to come a little bit late. Demo looking to make the biggest impact for his team, getting those
Here.
kills on the back end. They know where one is. It happens to
Here.
clear off McLovin knee. Now it's left to a 2v3.
Last player
And a
standing.
headhunter. And not going to get the job done, unfortunately for not.
Yeah, once again, those Spectres being able to do a lot of work. They were able to get some thrifties with those shorties before Noxious. It's not going to be this time around, as Akuma are going to be able to bring them into this moment around here, and just like Hira can go for that Phantom off of the death on that previous round, whereas Shattered going to be the one to do that full save. But speaking of those first bloods that have been rolling right into Yasser's, KDA has Tour de Force out and ready, and this is going to be potentially a little bit spooky, but thankfully for that paranoia, Yasser goes back.
Yeah, surprisingly, that's a good thing, right? We were just saying, like, oh man, that's kind of crazy. Ooh, that KJ Molly definitely doing some damage, even though KJ's over around side, but yeah, ooh, is there Yasser as well?
One enemy remaining.
In the back. And Wappa adding on to that. Oh, just a clean. They did lose too, but hey, that was a statement. They're here to party.
Yeah, Yasser's definitely making me go, yes, sir. And, you know, you kind of said it. I had to. I know I'm cringing too, chat. Don't worry about it. We're all feeling the same thing. And Wappa now gonna be the one on the precipice to get into that blade zone. Panther able to go into this one in the whole buy as well for Kuma to kind of match up with that. The only one looking a little bit rough is Ahira, who's instead going to do a little bit of shuffling around to go for the Marshal here. But if one of the other members of this team can just go ahead and pick up a kill, Ahira will be looking pretty fine to be able to hold on to a lot of credits in form of this weaponry.
I am a little bit nervous here as Shattered got this really deep lurk onto mid. That Weppa actually, just kidding. I lied. He definitely knows that they're there. So gonna get the kill and get out of town just to make sure that the man advantage stays on the side of these defenders. A Nebula is used onto Treach to make sure that the aggression doesn't go through. And I love that Yasser is already ready for that A main swing happening if anyone decides to peek their heads through. Manages to connect, but it's gonna be Franks who ends up on top. The operator is no longer a danger for Akuma as they decide to rotate over onto this B site.
Making good use of that Omen, and now all together as the 4 remaining players for Akuma getting ready to push onto the site, but Zaldrone
30 seconds left.
already could be an unfortunate tell. After shots through the wall, the reveal is going to mean death. The dark cover come out, taking shots from behind, has to just try and locate the safety with just an operator in hand. Can't go for it. Unfortunately, Demo's caught on the reload here.
It's the 2v1 now. It is very doable. Flashpoint does manage to take on the Birdies. The swing through, the shot misses. A flash gonna come on through onto the site. The swing from lane end stairs. But still have to worry about the Breeze operator in hand. Now looking up one enemy. Able to connect with 2, but no, Frank shuts it down and keeping the lead for Akuma. And also an operator. Oof, okay.
Yeah, the operator that was in the hand of the Breeze fell to it. Some nice shots actually from McLovin in that 1v3 situation there. Actually, just unfortunately, it's you get 2 in the 1v3 and you're like, oh, maybe feeling myself, but then just Frank's shutting it down before it can go any further. As you mentioned, keeping Akuma in the lead, keeping hold of that expensive weaponry, and keeping it in the hands of that Jet in the form of
Concealment!
Oh, this time the aggression is going to go onto the A side. Hunter's Fury also gets invested here. It's going to ping Ostino, does a lot of damage. Ostino brings that all over onto his friend Yasser. But I don't think Yasser got hit. No, he did not. But now they're having repositioned by the lockdown invested. A mid pick. McLovin doesn't quite make it out of that. So just gonna pause, take a second, do a little bit of do you remember the why am I thinking of the mannequin pose? That reminded me of the mannequin pose.
the T-pose, or
it was the you know, the one that everyone pretended to be a mannequin and then the beat drop just like Magni is making this beat drop to Grace, gets banged by that drone, gonna get shot through the wall. The purple swing now has that player standing the side, and just like that, keep your Demo. Okay, maybe not. I don't know. Demo's cracked.
Demo is kind of cracked, but a 1v3 is really with an operator, especially in the face of a flash drive there, being able to finish that one off, and defensive side in the Noxious hands to be able to find themselves a win here and move that operator around, be able to put it in the hands of, this time, the Jet from the side of Noxious. So we'll see what exactly Wappa can do. Oh, actually, no, just kidding. You know, Yasser's doing a great job of getting those first bloods. Normally, I'm just so used to seeing the Jets want to pick up the operators, and sometimes when there's not a chamber on both teams, I forget that there's even a chamber in the game. How could I forget? You're right, Yasser's played this chamber every single game, and also top fragged with it for at least the NXS squad.
Get out of my way!
So should not be that surprising. And once again, we've seen that before. Forcing that rendezvous safety. Unfortunately for Jaewoo, does not have a rendezvous of his own. He's forced to take the brunt of that force coming in from Akuma.
Yeah, I love the combination
Spike
of that
planted.
flashpoint along with the blind from the Omen that's constantly repositioning Yasser over onto that main. I think they need to combo that onto that A side once they plan to hit that A side. That allowed for the push from Victoris with the Blade Storm, getting rid of the Soba, and then just now the retake is happening. It's getting Wepa good for 2 with the addition of that flash. Looking for the third, but Victoris' Blade Storm is too Nancy now going onto the side. Austin knows how to check every single corner. They know
Last player
Degree
standing.
manages to stay
Last
alive.
player standing.
Frenzy coming through. Demo though has clutched it once, looking to clutch it again. Half defuse is gonna come through the. He hit. He definitely hit. There's not gonna be no time.
Thrifty round at the end of the day. Actually locked down for Akuma there. McLovin doing a valiant effort, but just unfortunately not able to finish and stick that defuse. Such an unfortunate situation for the side of Noxious, but they're doing Noxus. We're not playing League of Legends, my apologies.
Last player standing.
But they're doing a pretty good job of at least not letting Akuma kind of run away with this game. Every single time that they've lost two, they've been able to kind of get one back. And so we're getting a nice little back and forth here once again, and that has been kind of the way that we've seen Noxious typically be able to go into these late rounds and keep themselves in these games. And
Got him.
ooh, nice long range shots. It's at least a 1-for-1 for Wappa there. And when you're on that defensive side, those 1-for-1s matter a whole lot more because you're typically fighting in 1vx situations.
Absolutely, especially when you have a weapon disadvantage as well. Anything you can get, especially for the morality here. Wappa 6-6, feeling good. Now the bomb is making its lurk over onto mid, where Yasser is holding sight. If you want anyone to hold any angle, especially a tough one, it is going to be Yasser, who's able to really use those teleports back and forth just to make sure he stays out of danger and repositions. But this drone gives away the position, like I said, unfortunately, out of that teleport range, and not the perfect headshot placed in the angle there. Lovin
player
gonna take
standing.
his shot, but hey, he is a hero. Covering a buddy's back. Now it's just down to the Soba, who's had to make their way over from that B side. Oh, has a recombo and also has some shot builds, but the weapon
planted.
disadvantage is only making it a lot tougher, though those shots nice and clean. Able to bring down Degree by out. Shot bolt just misses by a hair. And that turret's gonna get the kill there. Wow.
Daewoo manages to find one headshot on Frank though before falling. There, okay, so I gotta point out, Ahira goes for the owl drone. Agrees, watches Ahira. As somebody who is like playing Phoenix, who's playing Sova, when you're in, or like even Sky, and you're in those like other forms and nobody is watching your body and then you die while being in that other form, or even like an Astra when you're in Astral form. Nothing feels worse, and you're like, someone please just like be able to have my back. And then the moment that they go into that and Ahira's pushing forward and Agrees, and then her and Agrees pushing forward, and then Ahira has Agrees' back, that's just classic all around. 8+ buddy system
man.
coming through once again. Unfortunately though, we are losing that KO, but is in a state that could be resurrected if we decide to go for it, but it looks like they're just going to go ahead and say, you know what, they're going to expect us to try to go for that resurrection, so instead we're going to try and go for the other side of the map, and
Spike
does allow for them to
planted.
get this planted.
Very good call. I mean, you can lose a friend when you've got the aim, and you got the bomb down as well. You have a lockdown to hold
You
down
should
and
run.
bring and buy up time. Yasser gonna get rewarded though for that patience on that top of the push from the rest of Noxious is not that great. They were met with a hero who was holding on to a side, and now
Last player
Yasser
standing.
to move to the side, but Demo is not gonna allow it. Just, we talked about it. Puma is a team that once you allow for them to get a lead, they're gonna run with it.
And so far, they are running. I mean, we've been talking about it. These best of
You
5
should
series
run.
are a marathon and not a sprint. But when you know that Akuma is at a 2-0, they're starting to pick up the pace. They're starting to not worry so much about their stamina and just trying to finish it all up right here or right now and
Last
preparing
player
themselves
standing.
as 5 to go for an aggressive push towards this B and mid side of the map.
What's this?
I like that Akuma, I'm sorry, Noxious is changing things up. Instead of bringing that chamber over onto the B main, they're switching him over to mid, where they have found a little bit more success and have controlled a lot of mid, at least for the side of Akuma. Now Wappa's going to be the one swinging through here. Met with
Nowhere
the
to run!
of Shattered, who repositions just for tad bit. Flashpoint coming out. Oh, the blade storm goes away, but not before 2 could be met with them. Now J-Root investing in shock bolts to keep him off a side, but no, it's gonna be Akuma investing
down,
themselves
B.
onto that B. Yasser through the smoke gets one, now looking for the second. Firing through, Drone does see, but does not ping, unfortunately. But yes, man advantage.
One enemy remaining.
Of Noxious.
Spike down, B.
As the 3v1 now is mad Shattered, only 64 health, has to go get the spike, and it's gonna be the patience coming out from the rest.
30 seconds left.
Spike retrieved.
Shattered also got to be thinking about how
Three
do
kills.
I get
Shutting them
through
down.
this in a way that works to my advantage. And a great start there.
Spike
Kind of
planted.
sussed out that somebody had to be close to the bomb, and where exactly would that be? That recon bolt's got to be information as well. Unfortunately, that crosshair placement a little bit rough as the 2-player push ends up going Ostino inside of Noxious's way.
And they needed that round. Their economy is down in the dumps. They invested a couple of ultimates as well, as we can see. Wappa still has his. Actually, no, he invested that one there as well. So they're just looking to work for that no command for them to have this following round. But on the side of Akuma, they're going to have 2 big ones. They're going to have the no command as well as from the shadows. And their economy is still very feasible. They're still going to be able to full buy AKs as well as full utility. I think one thing that they need to be worried about is going to be the aggression that has been showing from Noxus. They're able to get those first bloods, and that is where Akuma bleeds the most.
Taking that back.
And that's something that we've been able to see why Yasser has been so impactful again. But it's going to be a lot harder to do that once we're being onto that attacking side. Levin trying to watch this mid area, but forced back a little bit as well. This is probably the most spread out that we've seen Akuma for quite a few rounds. Really just trying to get as much information all across the map as possible and really just leave the side of Noxious guessing.
They really do, and Noxious is so quick to really want to peek and get aggressive, which makes me a little bit nervous that Drone clears off a main, so it's going to be Yasser. Peek angle, gets one piece of the smidges, little inch of Shattered, able to connect, but not before Demo is able to get the trade off. Beautiful pull from the Astra Degrees, dashes onto the side, weapon actually Jay Woo assisting a friend there. Now there is on
Player
the side.
standing.
Jay Woo
30
moves
seconds
on
left.
through, and now it's down to Franks, who's out in the open. Recon Bolt gets destroyed. The teleport, yes, no, maybe so. But McLovin says, "You ain't messing with me. I got you." And just like that, two points away. Very, very close game here, Becky.
Yeah, what an unfortunate situation to be in for Franks. You're like, do I go for the teleport?
Yeah.
Am I safer here? Do I go for the teleport? I think something's close. And just like trying to decide if you go for even just using the teleport at close range to give that audio away and trying to go for the fake and just kind of being caught in the middle there. It's an unfortunate situation, but a nice catch off there from the Noxious side. McLovin, who's able to secure that one. And now very different setup, very far back on B, but very aggressive onto A. Unfortunately, though, Yasser not able find that kill and takes a lot of damage. Now Agra ready with that recon bolt, waiting for that vulnerability to drop. And very, very nice grenade to come out. Shatter finishes off Yasser. That chamber is down, and that means that the operator is as well.
I mean, an operator in the hands of Degrees now, which some very scary hands to be in. The Astra still has some nebulas, though, to allow for the team to really push onto the site. But Degrees is going to be holding on to this tree angle. Now, a little bit of utility here. Flashpoint giving away
Out of the
the
charges.
position of at least 2 nebula being used to close off that beam. A main. Actually, no. Being put onto the bomb. Now
One enemy remaining.
It's gonna be Jay-Woo swinging for hell. Now it's a 2v1 down. Jay-Woo,
Last
the
player
attack comes
standing.
through. The swing,
There
the
they are.
connect, the recon bolt pings Jay-Woo, and Ahira kills.
Ahira picking up 3 there, and a 7th
Last
round for the side of Akuma to go into this last round. They had an 8-4 last half. No, on the first one that we watched for Bind, it was an 8-4, and then that one ended up being a 13-10. Kind of an interesting time to take a timeout, but I can understand just
enemy
wanting
remaining.
to really secure this last round and give yourself as few rounds to clutch up once you switch to that
There they
other
are.
side as possible. But we do know that typically Akuma does favor defensive sides, and a lot of the time that they've actually picked Ascent as their map, or when it gets picked otherwise, they do pick being on the defensive side to start as well. So it's something that I'm anticipating them having a strong foundation for, especially considering their team composition. They have that Killjoy that is just so good at locking down a site. The information that Soba can gather is just so instrumental, and they'll be really good at being able to gather that information, fall back, and continue to play as 5. And we see a lot of success coming out from this Akuma squad when they're able to continue to play with their numbers as much as possible.
Yeah, also I want to point out that this is going to be the round that really dictates whether this is a new Noxious or they're going to follow through with the pattern of the first time they met against Akuma. The first time they met, 4 was all they got. If they can really make this a 7-5, not only is their mental going to be higher, right, because it requires less rounds for them to make up on the attacking side they
Obscuring
have, but
vision.
they're also going to know that they are
Leave that
definitely doing a lot better this time around. Drone gonna ping out Ostino, who's gonna quickly reposition and group up with the rest of the team. Nebula being put at the entrance of this, put a smoke, but the dash from Degrees has been successful before. They expect for Yasser to be on the back of the site, but this time around, Yasser is the opposite side. The quick rotation happening over from Noxious,
Spike planted.
unfortunately, does get shut down very quickly, and just like that, they are 1 man down.
Also, just like that, Shattered has the opportunity to go and pick up a better gun than this Spectre.
Going out.
Anticipating somebody pushing through is next. Down Austin. A lot of shots, damage all across the board, and
One enemy remaining.
bars, but the skirt coming out from this squad of Akuma solidifies this final round.
Switching
of this
sides.
half. Gets an 8-4 here. Noxious now on this attacking side. Gonna have their work cut out for them, but if Yasser can continue to keep up with these kind of aggressive peaks and be able to kind of meet and duel some of the members of Akuma, and, you know, get fortunate enough to be able to take them down. Yasser's been able to do it lots of times before, so I don't see why that shouldn't be the case here. And then just play off of where Yasser's able to get those first bloods, those advantage kills, then things should be able to end up really starting to push into Noxious's favor on this attacking side.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I'm a little bit worried about the use of double initiators. I mean, they are able to nullify at least Shattered and Jet here at the entrance, but they're gonna have to work a little bit harder to get rid, especially of that KJ utility. They're gonna not want to go over to that B where they know usually KJ goes around. They're gonna dry peek, but McLovin able to get rid of the doppelganger. Wepa good for 2. And now the site is free, and this is a good way to start if you are Noxious.
Good way to start. And Something that I'm eager to see is their post-plant positioning. Nice shock darts to come out. Unfortunately, they don't quite land onto Demo. He's trying to play with Akira as closely as possible. Watching each other's backs. Continue to move on to the site and just gather information. A 2v5 situation as well.
One enemy remaining.
Happen if Father doesn't wop wop finds 2 kills. Easy peasy, flawless round to start things off into Noxus's favor.
Wappa is reminding us why that song was popular, right, Becky? Do you know that song, Becky?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Not appropriate for children under the age.
I was trying really hard not to sing it the moment that I said that, so.
I had to bring it up because my brain was like,
Instantly, yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of the beauty and the curse of pop music.
Facts. Also, the curse of stacking the wrong site. Brought to you by the side of Akuma here, as they have full sended it over onto that B site. But the attackers are actually going to make their way onto, once again, this A site. But they don't know that it's empty, so they're just making their way onto the site. Very easy peasy. What a beautiful recon bolt to scare the living shenanigans out of this team and maybe make them rethink their choices here.
Rethinking their choices, but it's crazy to me how scared we're actually seeing the side of Noxious.
What? They're rotating back. No way.
Has there really been so little sound towards B, even though all 5 of them are there, that Yasser's going, nah, we can come onto this side. We can come onto this side. Let's go for this rotate. Oh my gosh,
Teleport's ready.
This is there's nothing to comment on. Everything that is funny about this round is like a visual, but the absolute
30 seconds left.
sound across the entire round has just gotten Noxious to, despite there being nothing on A,
I'll spike
go
there.
run towards B.
Spike
At the end
down,
of the day,
B.
It doesn't matter when you have better guns, you're gonna win these fights a lot of the time.
Last player
They're
standing.
getting lucky here and there, but only one will fall in Asino, so it doesn't matter that they ended up going to the site where all 5 of them were hanging out. The buy-up is just gonna end up being stronger with the side of Noxious, but now we'll see if this buy-up can be just as strong for Akuma, who are getting a little bit of this gap closed in.
Okay, I kind of feel like that round was just meant. I know this is really self-centered of me to think, but that round was just meant for us, Becky. Just for us.
Honestly,
Just
it was
to
a treat. It was
Yeah.
a treat to watch.
Oh, okay. Let's hope that doesn't happen again, as the weapons now are in their favor. We're gonna get a little ping here from Degree saying, yo, I got smoked here. They could be up cat. They could have mid control. And the aggression from Degrees to hold on to that angle. That's how much confidence Degree has. The smoke dissipates, and Degrees flails his way out of that position, able to get 1 and 2 safety, giving the man advantage. And oh my land, but also look at the health from Yasser, but I guess the health doesn't matter when those shots are just too crispy clean. The line coming through, drone has not spotted the Omen, and just as I say that, there's the ping. Omen's there, you can get onto the site, but be careful because there's also Degrees around town. Perfectly aimed there by Oncino, and the site is in control of these attackers. The bomb is also going to make its way down as this post plant is
Spike
going
planted.
to throw a hero swinging nice and early. All by himself. Confidence
player
coming out
standing.
from them is just oozing, but gets shut down very, very quickly. Now KJ, Demo, someone who flushed it out previous time before, unable to do this time around because of the double swing from hell. Perfect help.
Yeah, nice hold and great from Noxious to actually be able to win that bonus round. That's absolutely huge. They continue to either hold on to those guns, but it looks like everyone has decided to go for those upgrades and just try to keep as much distance between their gun power level to credit value compared to the side
Track
of
them down.
who are just gonna go ahead and do full sheriffs going into this round, maybe a marshal or 2 depending on the player,
Revealing area.
and save
Bomb grenade out.
Oh,
Bomb down.
KJ just holding one off to the side. But KJ is so phenomenal onto that B side, able to hold them for just a tad, while the whole rest of the team rotates to set it. It is a weapon disadvantage. But if you know something about Noxious is they will try. The bomb hasn't even made its way onto the site. Now it has, and Shattered is the last standing here for Noxious. A lot to carry. 40 health. Actually,
Spike planted.
I'm gonna check this B main just to make sure it finds Yasser there. And Noxious finds its way into an 8-8.
All right, since moving on to this attacking side, actually doing a great job of being able to gather, well, or not gather information, and then make movements towards other sides of the map to just try and get kills before actually going for those plants. And I mean, they have a strategy and they want to be able to take those kills. They're really relying on Yasser to get those first bloods, and then just capitalizing on wherever someone from Akuma falls. And hey, if it's gonna work out and it continues to keep working, they're gonna continue to rack up some points, but a quick rendezvous away is gonna make it a little bit harder for Degrees to find a first blood here.
Good use of drone gives away the position of Yasser, but they don't know that there is one more there. Out, up, it's gonna be Yasser. Collecting a here. Operator is still in the hands of the Jet here. So they're still gonna be worried about pushing onto the mid, but the swing from Shatter gets rewarded with one.
Down mid.
Demo able to collect the second. Now there's no smokes. The bomb is still left onto mid, so they're gonna have to go recollect it. They don't know who's holding it, and they for sure know that the Jet is over onto that B main with the Operator. So a lot of choices to be made here. Very difficult situation.
3v3 is a big difference from what Noxious have been working with a lot of these other rounds where they felt in control and felt like they can execute. The thing I'm worried about the most actually is this Jet with this Operator being
30 seconds left.
Far forward in garage. Everyone else is pretty far back, is waiting for information, and is staying in a safe enough place to be able to rotate and plan, except for that Jet.
Standing ahead.
Jwoo almost getting taken out there. That recon bolt is gonna ping
One less.
and that's gonna be a free Yasser.
10 seconds left.
Oh my goodness.
Thankfully, Demo able to bring it to a 2v2 again.
Planted. One enemy remaining. Last player standing.
Coming out.
Oh my goodness. Demo has done it again, folks. Able to just clutch it out. It looked so not possible, but he can do it, man. The man has got it.
And also is somehow able to defuse with nothing but a sword. But hey, you know, sometimes that does the trick as well. That little bit of a visual bug. Bringing us into Akuma's 9-8, finding themselves that step forward once again to keep a hold of this match as best they can. But Noxious are really not going down without a fight. They've just been able to continue to claw their way back into this game, and are looking to probably do it again, even this up. And a little bit of a solid, well, the buy is solid for the side of Noxious as they were able to win those 4 in a row. But the buy fallen players from Akuma. Demo actually picked up that Operator, gave it back to Degrees, and now is just racking a Bulldog into this round.
So many utilities, so many ultimates on the side of these attackers. I feel like I would like to see a little bit more aggression. Noxious is just playing a little bit too slow for my taste, especially being that they do have a lot of aggressive agents on their map pool. They have the Jet to dash onto the site. They have the flashes from the KO, as well as some shock bolts, even recon bolt to gather information. But still, Noxious decides to play this a little bit slower. Shatter was spotted. Frank's gonna play the cheeky angle. Oh, that was a smidge of a pixel. The wallbang did not do any justice, but Yasser's still gonna gress onto there. Unfortunately, it's gonna be Franks who ends up on top. Still 5,000 straight. So if the trade-off is there, it needs to come through now as they are getting onto this A site. The bomb's not even in their possession, so I don't know if they're just trying to make sure that they gain some space. I don't know what's going on there, but deep into the site is going to be McLovin.
30 seconds left.
And Spino going to put some nebulas down to hold off cheeky angles for them to be able to get onto the site.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a rough situation. I think they didn't expect all 3 of their players pushing tree.
Spike planted.
You want to fight it?
There pretty much, and as a result of that happening, just looking back and forth, that cosmic spot.
One enemy
Coming
remaining.
out makes Demo fall, unfortunately. Now Zira one Reese to follow it up, and it's actually going to be Akuma who are just not trying to lose that many rounds, double digits for them, and I think now we're going to be looking at some rough. Oh, actually, no. Noxious still looking to be pretty rich, especially considering that the Blade Storm and Tour de Force are at the ready for 2 of their players. So credits actually continuing to look fine despite those 2 losses in a row.
Yeah, but this is gonna be the second time that Noxious has, Akuma has like a weird buy. As we can see, 2 Spectres. They are winning the rounds, but unfortunately they're also trading off quite often, which isn't allowing them to really grow their bank. For the most part, also Degrees deciding to not buy a buddy, or even just give the operator to someone else and use the Blade Storm is gonna leave them with just those 2 weapon disadvantages. I think with the communication that Noxious is displaying, they need to know that there is going to be a little bit of a loophole somewhere. They just got to be able to pick it off and be able to trade, because that's really where they're losing most of their fights.
Something that Akuma does have in their favor, though, are a lot of ults to use. They have that no command from the shadows, as well as the Hunter's Fury to be utilized. And those are some great ways to go about retaking once that bomb is down. The odds are actually getting pretty far onto the site. Unfortunately, that Killjoy utility is going to be able to give away a bit of information there. A lot of us this side is Shattered Demo final.
But the exchange of the Hunter Fury, he says you have one, I have one too. I think the Hunter Fury for Noxious connects a little bit more, and thankfully they're still able to get this perfect close line. I like the spread of it. One thing that Noxious has struggled in the past is they're all onto site. This time around, you have some on site, you have some in main. I don't know why we're pushing through that smoke.
One enemy remaining.
And a lot of gentlemen from the side of Noxious are falling through, and just like that, Akuma has cleaned up the site with the perfect.
Nice knowing you.
Yeah, only lost 1 player, and now we're really going to start to see their economy hold strong. We were a little bit worried about a freeze, considering how many players of Akuma were falling time and time again, but all of a sudden, 4 out of 5 able to continue to hold on, and their economy is going to start to look a whole lot better as Noxious still in an okay spot. Once again, just being able to hold on those first 4 rounds. On top of that, the economy-saving ultimates that they have. I mean, really, when that starts to work out nicely for your team composition, along with buying a buddy every single round, it's a lot nicer, but harder for things to look nicer when you're looking right into a dark cover.
That, and when things are just not looking your way, you're getting the first bloods, you're just having a harder time with the post plant. I would like for them to get some initial picks and go for the plant, and that's not going to be the case here, as Degrees and Frank shutting things down. Big teleport gives the sense
Spike
of security
down,
to
B.
Dosser, and then just like that, Franks is able to swing and get the kill. Who uses the drone at the wrong time and gets caught out.
Yeah, an unfortunate drone timing. People are around. You just watched Franks go for that fake teleport that was actually close enough to be able to take a chamber down, and then going for the drone leaves you so vulnerable. I guess a heads-up play from the Akuma squad for just going for that rush. It does solidify that match point here and a chance to just close this series out. But match point is where we have started to see Noxious really dig their heels into the ground and come back with force, and see if they're able to do so here.
You said it, and they are aggressing onto the A side. Turret gives away the information. They swing onto the site. They close the door. They don't check everything. Shatter able to connect one. Grenade being used to zone now A. Heaven Degrees is holding out with an operator for Wappa. Finds, digs deep, wheels the shot, gets the kill. And holds on to it. Now, I said it before, it's going to be their post plant that makes it or breaks it here for Noxious. Shattered wall base and connects. And the lockdown has repositioned the entire team over onto A main. They're smoked out. They're going to have to push it if they want to. The bomb has been held. It's being held. Akuma is not letting go. Do it.
Defenders win. One enemy remaining.
I have to say, I'm happy that they fought so hard. I'm still sad though. I was hoping for a longer storyline. I was.
Yeah, that does feel like a little bit of an anticlimactic way to end, especially like that's something that I think that Noxious just when things start to get a little too when things started to get a little too aggressive, you would kind of see them maybe like their comms are getting a little bit too flooded. And as a result, you saw all three of them in that post plant go into the same area and just get choked out by a bunch of utility from the defensive side. And an unfortunate way for it to end by it just being held by a defuse. But once again, a big congratulations and good job from the side of Akuma for good utility usage and being able to just continue to track things despite things getting kind of skirmishy.
Mm-hmm. Hello, Crow. Thoughts?
I have
Man,
so
it
many
feels
thoughts at the end of
it
a
feels
game.
good to be a gangster. Akuma coming in, getting that 3-0, just oh man. Honestly, yeah, though, not like this is the first thing that comes to mind. If you are Noxious there at the very end to lose to you getting forced off site for a retake and then just a diffuse to end it, it's kind of like you're watching a fireworks show and the last one just kind of duds. I mean, yeah, it still goes off technically, but like lackluster, blah blah blah. But hey, we talked about it. This map pick of Ascent for Akuma, they're really good on this map apparently, and it showed once again. I mean, yes, it was a 3-0, but also the games were all relatively close, except for maybe that last one felt a little bit more one-sided, but the series as a whole was competitive.
Yeah, I completely agree, actually. And big props to Noxious. I mean, I'm sure they know as well as we do that Akuma have not even lost a map throughout this entire series and continue to hold on to that even in this final series. And that had to be daunting to go into. So even though you weren't able to take a match, getting to that 10-13 and that 11-13 after it is still extremely good for the team that you were facing against. And I know everyone on Noxious is going to be like, yeah, but it could have been better. And, it could have been. But all things considered, you were facing down basically the titan of this entire series. And so big props to how it even ended up going in those few matches. And props for being able to pick up a lot of first bloods in those rounds. We saw Wappa and Yasser both kind of walking away from that with 5 and 4 first bloods. High first blood numbers across the Noxious squad. Unfortunately, just got to find a way to capitalize onto those as you move forward and progress as a team.
Absolutely agreeing. And Cute Noob, your thoughts on the series as a whole, as we are, just waiting for everything to get done so we can get that MVP poll voting and then get that interview in. But what are your thoughts on this whole series and what happened here today?
Well, I definitely am a little bummed about Noxious, obviously. But I think overall, as a team, they should be proud. You got to take your victories where you can, and the really victories is that you did not lose by a single digit. You fought tooth and nail every single map, and even though at the end it did seem like they were feeling like their fuse was burning out, they still fought. They planted the bomb. They pushed the site. You saw that aggression from Wappa. You saw that aggression from Yasser. So I'm proud of their mental strength. I think that is something that sometimes even you see it a lot in ranked games and even at pro level where teams just like kind of give up. You're like kind of we're done. It's not gonna happen. We're done. We're just gonna have fun and throw some rounds around. So the fact that they didn't and the fact that they just decided to go for it and be aggressive and end with honor is a big love to them. As far as Akuma, they were picture perfect. They had fun. They looked like they were having a great time. They played it great. They know the power of friendship and they played it perfectly. They know their strengths and they played them to them. And all hail to them. They're the winners.
Yep. Didn't drop a single map this entire split. That's the craziest part about it all. They are such a strong organization known throughout the amateur scene in multiple titles, and they're just like, yeah, man, let's dip our toes into a new pool and see what we can do. Well, we saw what they can do, and there's another split. We still have the fall split to go. Um,
Mhm.
Hoping to see them back for that as well. The MVP poll has started in chat. Honestly, if we can talk about that as well. Out of these 5 players, who would you pick as your personal MVP for this series? Becky, we'll start with you.
Oh.
Oh, this is hard. Because I said it even in the first game, based on how I kind of cast and dissected from Akuma on last week. They kind of all have their star shining moments. And you can't really get through a game without at least one of them having this like, wow, fantastic play moment that you get to watch. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I think the person that I'm always the most excited about how they play, the way that they use their utility, especially across multiple agents, I think ends up being Frank's for me
Yeah.
personally. I
Okay.
think that is coming from me being a little bit of a controller player myself. But I'm kind of just like in awe at the utility usage, the timing of everything, especially on the Omen, is just like something that I have loved watching. But I think that Shattered is also an extremely strong player. So my like honorable mention goes there.
All right, cute noob. Personal MVP for this series. Who are you feeling?
I'm gonna go with Ahira. I think Ahira did a phenomenal job. Fade is spanking brand new, and to be able to play that very, very well and lead your team to victory, I have to say Ahira has been the one making the most impact. So, for me personally,
Mhm.
that's who I'm going for.
I think this is a bit of a split desk because I would be picking Demo for my personal MVP of this series
Oh,
because the clutchest
that's
moments you saw in those times where
that's
they
so true.
were losing, Demo was one of the ones to step up time and time again to just absolutely shake the foundation and bring them back. Um, it was just absolutely insane. Like how he was able that 4K at the end of
A
game
4K
two.
at the end of the split one was
That was
nice.
yeah,
Insane.
it was actually insane, and like his ability to just be that amazing second person to help secure sites or get the retakes that needed to happen. He was in the right place at the right time for the
Mhm.
majority of the series. And it was just absolutely awesome to watch this team work as a unit because like you said, every single person on this team could be considered an MVP for something that they did, and it was just like, oh my god, amazing stuff to watch them play, you know?
Was in fact amazing. And again, congratulations to them. I think we're going to be going and having a little bit of an interview with them in a sec too. And I'm sitting here in the back trying to think about what questions I possibly have for them.
I already have mine typed up, so
Ooh. Oh, damn. All right, putting
I
us
was
on the
able to do
spot.
that. I was able to
Okay,
do
then
that.
you're asking
But
your questions first. That's the game plan.
Yeah,
absolutely.
we
But
agree.
yeah, we will take a quick break, come back, MVP voting ended, grab the winner of that or whoever is available to get up some questions. So we'll just take just a small moment and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the post-game lobby interview section. First off, I do have with us coach of Akuma, and then also we have Demo. So if y'all want to say hi real quick.
Yo, the MVP of the tournament. What's up, guys?
Hey guys, so we're gonna just do a few questions. First of all, how are you feeling after the series? Congrats on winning the whole split in quite a dominant fashion, too, I might add.
Um, we're we're playing good. I would have been disappointed if we dropped a map, but overall, I think we played well, and we tried to give the Twitch viewers a little show by dropping some rounds. You know how it is.
I love it. I love it. The confidence.
My question is actually for Pumpkin, who is the coach.
Ooh.
What is something that you felt like you really had to advise Akuma on during the course of this split?
So in the beginning, they weren't that good at bind. So I think them incorporating bind was really helpful because before they weren't like that good at playing like that slow pace, but bind is like a slow pace map. So incorporating that into like not only their map pool but their playstyle kind of helped them like learn how to like take the game slower and like make more decisions like mid round or like make plays mid round rather than just making plays as like at the beginning of the round or like more towards the end of the round. They can like actually decide what plays are good or worth taking during the mid round.
Very nice. Yeah, I like that. And we on the desk definitely mentioned multiple times that the side of Akuma feels very aggressive. So we were definitely picking up on a little bit of a slower pace that was happening once you were on that bind. And we were like, this is a little weird because we definitely expected it to be a lot more aggressive. So very nice actually that you would mention that because then I get to do a little fan on myself and be like, yeah, we mentioned that. Cool for us.
Do you have any
Couldn't agree
questions
more.
or?
Yeah. So would say, what was the point? Because I know you guys were very close on split the first time you guys played them. So what was it that you changed differently this time around? To make sure that you guys got the dub. Besides, obviously, demo popping off and getting a 4K.
Like compared to the last time we played split.
Mhm.
To be honest, I'm just gonna be honest. We don't really play split. We've just expected it to be out of the map pool.
Mhm.
So we just tried to, I guess, like learn what they're doing and counter strat. And towards the end of split, when it got close, we just hit sites like really fast. Our slow paced gameplay wasn't working that well. Yeah, we did a bit of VOD review, but like nothing too crazy. But that's about it, to be honest.
Nice. And
What
one more
Nice.
maps did
question.
you?
Oh wait.
Okay, go.
No, go
you.
ahead. No, you go.
Oh, okay. What maps did you actually expect them to pick going into this series?
Ooh.
We knew that they were gonna ban Breeze. We knew that we both were gonna play Ascent, so we picked Bind. Ascent's our most preferred map.
Yeah, we know that.
Yeah.
So we so we picked Bind to secure a 3-0 with Ascent on third map.
Mm.
Yeah, we didn't. I don't think we talked about what they could pick. We just talked about what they could ban,
Mm.
and what we could work on. We prepared some icebox and some. What's the last map? Fracture. Yeah, we did some fracture spread.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Awesome.
Okay, you can go.
Oh yes. Oh, I was gonna just make a silly question to end it off. So do you guys want my question to be the last?
Sure.
Oh, I'm curious.
Yeah, so you got me a little curious on that one. But yeah, so looking back at this entire season, I mean, y'all didn't drop a map like throughout the regular season and playoffs. Like, what would you say as a team your biggest strengths were? And then also on the end of that, are you looking forward to the fall split if you guys are competing in it? And then do you think you're just gonna have the same result?
I think we're definitely gonna look to compete more. Um, our biggest strength, I guess we're all good players, you know. So we mesh well together. Hashtag AKM win. Um, yeah, I don't know, but I just want to say that we're all big fans of you, Crow.
Oh,
Thank you, man. Big fans.
that's so
Like it's so funny because
good.
like I had said before, I'd seen the Akuma org, in League of Legends before, casting a few open tournaments last year, and I'm like, yo, these guys are heavy hitters. Like they're killers. So when I saw y'all entering into the Valley scene, I'm like, oh, they're gonna be good here too, and it just feels good to be validated on that.
Yeah, you should know that we came in first week. Crow was like, I think Akuma is the team to watch. Somebody who's gonna do absolutely crazy work. So you're a fan of Crow. Crow's a big fan of you too.
Yeah.
All
All
right,
right.
Noob,
Eve.
you said you had the final
What's the
question.
I'm
final
What's
gonna
the
do
what's the
question?
the
crazy
final
question?
question. All right, ready? Are you guys ready?
I'm
Are you
ready.
ready for this? Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Yeah, for
I
sure.
thought you were gonna ask what agent doesn't have stinky feet.
Oh, you know what? Yeah. What? Okay, that's a great
That's
question.
that's the actual
What
question.
agent doesn't have stinky feet? Ready, set, go.
Um,
None? Damn, savage. I'm
I
just
mean,
kidding.
Jet.
Jet. Yeah.
Jet?
Okay. We also
Yeah.
said Jet. Okay. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, KO. Oh,
KO.
Yeah,
I
I would
didn't
say
even think
KO
about
because
KO.
he doesn't wear
He's
shoes.
a
He's a robot.
robot.
Wait, wait, wait.
Can't
But
generate sweat glands.
but pets can pee on his feet.
What? Ick.
That's a cop
I'm
out, but
just
all
thinking
right.
about Stray. You know your cat, you can pee on their
Oh,
feet. We're
he does
incorporating
kind
different
of look
games
like the
here.
robots in Stray too.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Okay.
Anyways, yeah.
All right. And we did establish that pineapple on pizza confirmed by demo is good. So
Exactly. Yes.
we
With,
got
with
we got
barbecue
arguments about
sauce.
that.
Ooh, yeah. Oh
Oh,
yeah.
Barbecue
Yes.
okay.
sauce.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
Oh,
absolutely.
yum.
Oh my goodness, y'all are killing me. These crazy rapid questions. Thank you so much, Pumpkin. Thank you so much, Demo. And once again, congrats on winning the summer split here for VLS. And
Thank you, thank you.
by all means, I'm so happy to see y'all again, see y'all in fall, run it up, run it back. Let's make it a 2 championship run throughout the year. By all means, man. It would be fun to see that. You have the floor now, so anything you want to say, any shout outs, anything by all means, go ahead.
Yeah, I have a
Well,
couple.
not anything, but
Anything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Keep it
for
at
sure.
least PG-13.
So I want Miko wants me to shout out Overkill Labs for sponsoring AKM. And I want to shout out my friend Sean P for supporting me. And I want to shout out myself for being the MVP of the tournament.
I love it.
we'll accept that. We'll accept that.
Love
And
that.
with
Love it.
that, I
Yeah.
think we can actually take a look at the MVP slide if we have not already.
Yeah.
We can
Ooh.
take a look at the beautiful end KDA that actually came
Ooh.
out of demo.
Hey.
Incredible.
We
Look
are
Preview
ending off
it.
with that Killjoy.
Incredible.
I don't know. Killjoy was the last thing that we got to see you play, and we had a fun time watching that very first pistol round where you did that little bit of a fake out.
Yeah,
That was a
tight.
lot of fun to watch.
That was
Actually,
tight.
Yeah, I'm just trying to put on a show, you know.
Yeah,
We love
absolutely.
it.
And you gave us a very wonderful show. It was a 3-0, but it was still a great show. Yeah, I mean, ladies, if y'all have anything last y'all want to say before we end the stream.
ooh, congratulations to Demo for MVP. Congratulations to Akuma for not only taking home the crown, but also going completely undefeated. Definitely looking forward to seeing y'all and your performance in other tournaments, as well as the fall split coming up for Victoris. And I don't know, I had a great season. I was happy to be a part of this crew. I love being on this desk with Cute Noob and Beautiful Crow. It's been absolutely amazing. We've had some good times, we've had some crazy times, we've talked about some weird things, and I just appreciate everyone who's been along for the ride here as well.
Same,
Beautiful.
same. I feel So blessed always. It's always so great to see new and up and coming teams making their big splash onto the scene, making a big name for themselves and showing how amazing they could be at Valorant. Once again, congratulations to Akuma, a team that was pretty unknown to me, and now, hey, they're going to be a team I am going to be looking out for sure. Becky, Crow, you guys are wonderful human beings. Chat, thank you so much for coming along with us and hanging out. Producer as well, Mr. Fantastic in the background, being absolutely phenomenal and keeping us at our feet. And of course, Victoris here, always giving us a home to be able to practice our casting and finesse our craft.
Absolutely couldn't have said it any better myself. Oh my goodness, it's been so great. It's been so amazing to be a part of this project this year, and it's still going. Like I said, we have the fall split coming up. We also have some tournaments going on throughout. I believe this upcoming July 31st. It's going to be a tournament. Hope to see y'all there watching back for that. But that is all for now. So, from myself and the rest of the broadcast team and the teams that have competed, y'all have a wonderful and safe night, and we will see you guys next time. Peace.